They like it at 65. And there's Jeremy Springer, the new special teams coach. And he's an important guy tonight because of the new kickoff rule. You know, we've talked about some of these rules changes and tweaks to the game that the league has implemented. And that's going to be a big thing we're watching tonight. 22% of the kickoffs were returned last year. So as a result of that, the league takes a look at these numbers, somewhat analytical, and they say, you know what, we got to get the kickoff back in the game. So the kicking team is now going to kick from its own 35-yard line. Then you're going to have 10 members of the kicking team are going to line up on the other side of the 50 on the opponent's 40-yard line. And a minimum of 9 members of the receiving team are going to line up between the 30 and 35-yard lines. This is where it gets interesting. Play begins when the ball is either caught or hits the ground in the landing zone or is returned from the end zone. And any kick that hits and stays in the landing zone must be returned. Any kick that bounces from the landing zone into the end zone must be returned or down by the receiving team for a touchback and possession as it starts on the 20-yard line. If a kick fails to reach the 20-yard line, the receiving team takes possession at its own 40-yard line, and if the ball enters the end zone in the air, the receiving team can return it or down it for possession at the 30. And if the ball goes out of bounds, the receiving team gets it on the 40. You know, that happened with Carolina in the Super Bowl, so that still is in play. Onside kicks permitted in the fourth quarter. Setup and landing zones do not change after penalties and our safety, and the spot where the ball is kicked is changed. And you have to be the trailing team to kick an onside kick. And there's the landing zone, guys. As you can see it, it's from the goal line to the 20. And this is sort of a work in progress. And here's the thing tonight. This is an open mic. I'm not teeing these guys up. You guys got the ability to jump in whenever you want. Let's look at the defensive starting lineup as we get to this. Once the kick is done.
So you might want to catch your breath. That's a lot on the kickoff right there.
Are you like?
Zoe was dynamic on his explanation of the dynamic kickoff, and that's what I loved about it.
In all seriousness, how much thinking is going on in the returners? Because you got to process a lot of things. You got to make quick decisions on the fly.
You got to have a mindset. Just return the ball, and that's what the NFL is looking for. Catch it, pick it up, do whatever you got to do. Return the football.
It looks fun. Saw it last Thursday. Here we are tonight. It's coming short. There you go. I think the average starting position a week ago in the Bears-Texan game was the 26-yard line. So not much change here.
And that's the thing. In the preseason, you're going to see all one-on-one blocks on the kickoff. No one's going to try to show anything that may happen in the preseason. What I'm most interested in is these coaches go home and they're studying, they're trying to figure something out. There may be tweaks to this thing even during the season.
Good stick right there. Okay, let's take a look at our defensive starting lineup, brought to you by Gillette Labs Exfoliating Bar, Gillette's ultimate shaving experience. See Keon White, he's got some nastiness to him, number 99. Daniel Qualley, Jeremiah Farms, and team captain, Dietrich Wise, Jr.
It's gonna be key for this defensive line. No Christian Barmore up there. Good stop, but that's you get 4 yards on the first carry for Carolina. I think they feel good, and I think the defensive front, you don't want that. You don't want any what they call leaky yards.
You guys like seeing that secondary without you guys out there?
I think everybody else likes seeing it. Not seeing old guys out there anymore. Marco Wilson is going to be a fun guy because this guy played a lot of football in Arizona. He's coming over. He's starting opposite Christian Gonzalez right now, and he's getting a chance without Jonathan Jones in the lineup to show, you know what, I can be a guy that can be a starter on this team and play some major minutes. That's a nice break right there from him.
What's the big thing as a corner? It's that hitting that back foot and breaking on the ball, that anticipation, right?
You got to be able to drive on any throw, and right now is when you want all your DBs to be at their best. Third down, Mayo talked to us yesterday. Third down is what it's about, offensively and defensively.
The pressure. It's Dietrich Wise.
Dietrich Wise.
That's the way you start a game as a defense. You take the field, you want to go 3 and out, and Dietrich Wise, it looks like he just wins one-on-one right here, coming off the edge up top. That's what it's about. When you get a one-on-one, you want to win a little bit of the stutter step to get a sack.
See, it's going to be interesting with Barmore being out. We'll get to Christian Barmore at some point, with the blood clots. And we don't know when he will be back. Keon White now can move around, down inside, outside. And he was paired with Dietrich on that right side. All right, looks like the Patriots are going to start on about their own 29-yard line. And what a journey for Jacoby Brissett. I mean, you remember him here with Tom and Jimmy, and we'll get to that Thursday night game that he played in, but he's played in the league for a long time, and the big story throughout the spring is he's settled down the room. When you got a couple of young guys, and Bailey Zappi's back here in year 2, you're juggling a lot of players.
And it's fun for me to see this because I was here when Jacoby came in as a rookie, as a young guy, running around, a little immature, and now watching him day in and day out in this offense with this team. He's a true pro. He's a veteran. He's an old guy, but I think these young guys are looking at for direction. And here we see Ramondre Stevenson doing what he does around the edge for this offense.
Which is so big because that's what they want to stick to, the run game to open everything else up for this young football team.
And that's old Ramondre right there. Hey, let's take a look at the Patriots' offensive starting lineup, brought to you by Gillette Labs Exfoliating Bar. Gillette's ultimate shaving experience. You got Vidarian Lowe on the left. That's not the basketball Michael Jordan playing left guard. Go to the receivers here real quick. Tyquan Thornton, Jalen Reagor, and Austin Hooper at tight end with KJ Osborne. Jacoby's going to want that one back.
And that's a big thing. Whenever you talked about it, so we got rain in the forecast. It's raining pretty good right now. Some receivers switch their gloves. They go with the leather gloves. Some guys go with no gloves, and that ball's a little high. But those are catches that sometimes you make when it's not raining. But I think for the quarterback position, Jacoby wants to make sure he puts these throws on the numbers so these guys can catch the ball easily.
Tight ends and backs, that's a great point. Okay, good protection here. Great job by Brissett, looking left. They took his first read away. I think it was the slot he was trying to go to. He comes back to the tight end, and then comes all the way back to the fourth read, which is Tyquan Thornton.
And I think that was so impressive for Jacoby to be able to go through that. For Tyquan Thornton right there as a receiver, you want to see him stop and go back up into the defender right there and draw the pass interference on a play like that. You like his effort to go up and get it, but that's some of those savvy things that the veterans do, and you can draw that penalty.
3rd and 10. Good throwaway. Good scramble right there.
And I think, this is a situation that this team doesn't want to be in. They don't want to be looking at 3rd and 10 situations. So Jacoby knows that. You look down the field, no one's open. You don't have to be a hero and try to make this big play. Throw the ball out, live to see another day.
And that was the one thing that they harped on as we talked to those guys is we want to major in running that football. And you pick up a nice play on 1st down, and the next thing you know is an incompletion, another incompletion, and you're punting the ball. So to your point, you can't be in those situations.
When they get this solidified too up front, we'll talk about that throughout the course of this broadcast. The 5 offensive linemen you're going to pick and roll with. Ooh, nice stick.
Football is back, baby.
All right, when we come back, Patriots defense takes the field. We'll set it for you.
away from Cincinnati, going and playing a big game. This team is building their identity, and like everyone knows in the preseason, it's all about staying healthy if you want to be the team that you want to be down the line. And that's the keys for this Patriots football team.
Not on to Cincinnati yet. That was a big thing back in the day.
2014.
Right?
New energy, new vibes.
Make a quarterback change? It's one thing. Carolina has about 31 starters out today. Not playing their top 2 quarterbacks.
And that's the thing. This first series for this defense, you go out there and you get a 3-and-out. You end the series with Wise coming up with a sack. DeMarcus Covington, who you're seeing right there, is a new defensive coordinator. He's been here for a while. The one thing, the games that they did win last year, it was on the backs of this defense. They're looking to carry that over this year, and you were able to shore up guys like Jabril Peppers, Kyle Duggar. You mentioned Christian Barmore, who got paid but is dealing with an injury right now with the blood clots. But you brought these guys back for a reason, to go out there and dominate the way they did last year and bring the offense along with you.
Oh, almost got one. That's Christian Gonzalez, your former #1 pick from a year ago. Went down in that Dallas game. Missed about 75% of the season.
And I think this is key for Christian Gonzalez. When you come out as a rookie, not many people know about you. You go out there and now you show people, hey, you better know me. And a former cornerback, Stephon Gilmore, has talked about how he thinks Christian Gonzalez can be a lockdown corner, and they're going to need that from him because they missed him when they lost him towards the middle of the season last year.
All right, 3rd and 10 here. It's a big get-off down. New blitz. Nice ball. Drop.
The weather seems to be showing up. I think these last 2 plays you've seen, New England's been a little step late, but 2 drops. But I think this is probably the key. When you get in these third and 10 situations, you might want a little bit more pressure. You can see Jeremiah Farms gets there late, but they had enough time to sit in the pocket and throw a 15-yard pass.
Well, as we mentioned, Christian Barmore, that's where he shows up big for this football team on the defensive side of the ball, that inside pressure. But we also have to remember number 9 with the red sleeves, Matthew Judon, isn't out there on the field right now as well.
Good stick. But this looks familiar, guys. Number 32.
It looks better, so it looks better is what you mean.
Did he have to pay you for that?
No,
he didn't have the white sleeves. There you see him right there. Number 3 overall pick, Drake May, enters the game at the 11-11 mark for the first time in his career in the first quarter. What do you think he's thinking about?
It's interesting. So much has already been said about him, and you just said it. So he hasn't even taken a snap in the preseason. So I hope he's just excited. I'm sure the nerves are flying. And we talked to these guys yesterday. They just want to get the play call right for their first play in the NFL.
More than that on first down. That's that zone run again. So that the zone run is now back, and that's going to be a big part of what they're going to do. And you talk about identity and forming that identity. I'm going to bring Brian Hoyer in from downstairs. Brian, just processing things for Drake May. Were you sort of surprised that these 2 young quarterbacks, Drake and we'll get to Joe Milton at some point, from calling plays, getting in and out of the huddle? Is that going to be the big challenge for them until a play clock?
Yeah, I think, we talked about it in the production meeting. Just these guys, coming from college, they're looking at over to the sign on the sideline. Now you're calling West Coast plays, which tend to be lengthy. So I think for, both these young guys tonight, the goal is clean operation, go out there and execute the play.
Really, really tough penalty right there.
Yeah.
Chuk's a core for on that right tackle.
And as Hoyer talks about get the operation right, for everybody at home, when you say that, and we talked to Hoyer a little bit about this yesterday, these quarterbacks are coming from college where there was 1 million people on the sideline with different color polos, and they're making all of these signals, and they may be saying one word to the offensive line, and then the play is rolling, where now he's in a huddle repeating paragraphs to try to get everybody lined up in the right position and trying to get the play off. That's the operation. It's such a different game for these young quarterbacks.
Paul, it seems like they're trying to ease Drake into this here. A couple runs here to start it, get his feet up under him, get his feet wet, so to speak.
Yeah, no, I agree, Zoe. And the disappointing thing to me would be just, as much emphasis as we put on the smooth operation, you get a false start penalty. So you want to run the ball, you get his feet wet a little bit to start the series, and then all of a sudden you push into a long yardage situation, 2nd and 14. You want to make sure you keep him out of these tough situations early on.
Good call, screen.
Yeah, good call, and if you pick it up, you pick it up. There you go. Got it.
I think he got the first down, and if you don't, you got to go for it here. Now they're moving the sticks. But good patience by Drake May. Brian, what would you call this in the West Coast offense? What would the terminology be?
Man, I don't remember the
no
screenplay, but I remember some of those keepers. It would be like East right slot, Z right outside, fake 19 Wanda, keep right, Z copper, X cross. And so from like the McCourties, I'm not sure which one was saying it because I can't see you guys, but their point is, you're usually looking over the sideline, and we talked to Joe Milton. He's like, okay, I see the signal. That tells everybody what to do. I tell the O-line the protection, and we go. And so now you get the opportunity to call a whole play. Nice throw. It's tough in the rain. We talked about it, Zoe. Like these guys in the rain, when the ball's high, it's easy for that to slip off their finger. So you really want to try to put it on their chest. But as a quarterback thrown in the rain, it always tends to go a little high.
Yeah, I think there was only one rain day practice. Maybe Paul, you could remind me on that. But I thought that was a pretty good throw right there.
Yeah. I agree, Zoe. And there was one rain day, and to be honest, the ball handling was a little sloppy that day for all the quarterbacks. I'm not picking on Drake May. I think there was some issues there with ball security.
And I think that's the reminder this time of the year, it's new for everybody. This is the first preseason game for everybody in 2024. So you come out here and it's raining, you haven't been hit in a while. I know they did a live period in practice, but now it's game speed. You're a little bit more tired. So these are the things that I think for Gerard Mayo as a head coach, you want to see your team in these conditions. How do they fight through? How do they battle? And they want to avoid, this is the second situation. You got away with a screen the first time, defense is rushing. It's usually hard to go to another screen, but another 3rd and 11 situation, that's not ideal for the young rookie quarterback.
Juju in the game here.
A good decision there to check the ball down, but I got to get back to Hoyer because we just saw a 3rd down. Hoyer went through an entire play call, and I said it to him yesterday. I don't understand why on the offensive side of the ball, why in the world do you need that many words? It's almost like you told each guy on the offense what their role is going to be. Brian, it looks like it could be a lot easier than those long sentences that you just put together.
Yeah, some offenses, it is more simple. I think sometimes like an offense like this, the more wordier it gets, it actually benefits the skill players because you're telling each individual guy what he has, and as opposed to, something like, the Josh McDaniel system where we're using a code word and it tells multiple people what they're doing. So, you just got to pick your poison.
All right, 7:21 left in the first quarter. Got to see Drake May for the first time. We'll see him again. Defense takes the field next. Already mentioned Christian Barmore. We know the injury that Cole Strange had to his knee. Pretty serious one last year. Joe Cardona. He's still kicking around there, man.
Long snapper getting the night off, baby.
You last 20 years doing that, man. Kendrick Bourne nursing the knee back. He's on the pup. And Taki and Jake Andrews on IR. That's a tough one. Yeah, backup center's a concern right now. You guys get chirped on Twitter a lot?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah, see, I'm looking at the Twitter.
You got to
here,
stay off that, Zoe.
Hey, Zoe, it's play-by-play. I'm like, no, we're doing something different here. It's 4 ballers sitting around with Paul Perillo. It's like watching practice, talking about what we're seeing.
If you're at home, it's like you went to your local bar watching the game.
Right.
Have fun.
Those two guys are drinking down there.
We just don't want to hear the remember when stories. We don't want 32 up here in the booth. Like, remember when? No, there's a new 32 in town. Jalen Hawkins, he's getting ready to make a play.
I get it. You don't want to hear us talking about Super Bowls and stuff.
Ball is out. Ball is out.
Did he call him down? I think he called him down.
Farms again with the pressure.
Taking a look at that one.
Yeah, I remember watching Jennings last year, and I talked about this with my radio play-by-play guy, Bob Sosi. Jennings came on so much throughout the course of the season, and it started in preseason with him. And they started to give him more and more. He signed back, got a nice little deal. It's good to have him back.
And it's a great story because Anthony Jennings, his first year as a rookie, he was playing a little bit on the edge, playing a little stand-up inside linebacker, and then they moved him strictly to the edge. And in those meeting rooms, they always talk about he already set the edge on Wednesday, a day before the game, because no one gets outside of him when they run the ball.
All right, let's go down to Scott Novak, see what the call is.
Previous plays under review, the ruling on the field was a fumble.
You called it. You had it, Dev. Gerard Mayo. Challenge time.
Quarterback's backside was down on the ground prior to losing the ball. He's down at the 8-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down at that spot. Please reset the game clock to 6 minutes, 43 seconds, 40 seconds on the play clock.
We can't.
So we had an automatic review. So the original call was that the ball came out, and that was a fumble, and Dev, you were all over that. So all turnovers and scoring plays naturally go to review. It was not a reviewable play with a red challenge flag by Gerard Mayo there. So they ruled that he was down.
His backside was down before the ball came out. That's the key on this one. And it's so close when you're looking at it. Farms has him down on the ground. Jennings knocks it out. But that right, left, one of them, the butt cheek hits the ground before that ball is out. And that stops the Patriots from having the ball right there in scoring position. And the Panthers get a crack at a 3rd and long.
A lot of 3rd and longs here.
A lot of 3rd and longs.
Welcome to the preseason.
2 brand new head coaches. I don't think they want to be in this many 3rd and longs. Challenge flag on the play.
Offense number 70. That's half the distance to the goal. 3rd down.
Just keep backing him up here.
This is a good time when the fans get into it. You're backed up as a defense. You kind of, I'm sure if I was on the field right now, Raekwon McMillan's looking at DC, DeMarcus Covington saying, send the pressure. Let's go get him.
He's right there in the middle, 50. Good job by Jennings coming off the block.
What did Dev say? This guy sets the edge the day before the game, and he steps up and he proves you to be right there. We haven't seen much from the offense so far as the Panthers are coming on to punt this ball. For Drake May, do you want to see him and show his athleticism and get outside the pocket and run around a little bit what he did?
Well, I think your field position here too. So you're going to maybe get the ball back around midfield. That could also be a shot call too.
And I don't know how much longer he's going to go. So I would think they want to show something because I don't think they put Drake May in there without this starting offensive line to make sure he's protected.
Short. Real short.
For Drake May, this has to be a really cool opportunity. Yes, it's your first game in the New England Patriots jersey. He's also going against his hometown team. Like, that has to be pretty cool for your first preseason game to go out there. The Panthers on the other side. I'm sure he grew up watching them. We saw on draft day his brothers giving him a hard time.
Right then and there, you talk Drake May. Bailey Zappi comes in. And guys, if you've never been to Foxborough, you probably don't understand this, but for some reason they're booing Bailey Zappi in the first preseason game as he enters on the field to play quarterback.
Cheered him a year ago. So the big thing Gerard Mayo has talked about as camp has gone on is the reps, quality reps. He said, don't get stuck with, oh, this guy got 10 and this guy got 5. It's what you do with that 5. If you do well with the 5, we're going to give you more. We're going to give you 10 maybe next time. So this is a big opportunity for Zappi too. Where does he fit in? Are they going to keep 3? Are they going to keep 4? Are they going to keep 2 and try and slide somebody to the practice squad?
And that makes so much sense, though, because, you know, people go to practice every day and they talk about the reps. But as a coaching staff, sometimes you decide to practice reps because you know who's going to get the reps in the game. And I think this is a situation where Zappe might not have got as many reps as somebody else earlier in the week in practice, but then now he jumps in the game and he'll probably get a lot of reps, maybe all the way until halftime. We'll see, but it looks like he's going to get some reps tonight.
Now, for you guys, did you want to see more out of Drake May? Would you like to see another series? Are you okay with the few plays?
No, I thought they protected him pretty well. I mean, the one where he flipped it out to the left side, the pocket broke down, but for the most part, it was good.
And I think some of that has to do with how long do you want to play David Andrews? How long do you want to play Michael Ewenu?
Yeah.
And I don't think they wanted to put Drake May in there without those guys on the field.
Well, go ahead, Sop.
No, go ahead. But like Zappe right there, like a little bit of a gunslinger. Like,
Yes,
I got Polk on there. I got the second-round pick, Jalen Polk, out there split to the left. That's two back-to-back quick throws out there, setting them up in 1st and 10 inside the 42.
And the one thing that has been said about Jalen Polk is he's been consistent all training camp, and he's a big body guy coming out of Washington, and he's a guy that I think for these quarterbacks, they know they can rely on that he's going to be in the right spot. As Zappe gets the ball, drops it, picks it up, and he does what Zappe did a year ago, where he comes in and just excites the crowd.
We're cheering him now.
It doesn't take much to change the crowd here in New England. I witnessed it for 13 years. I've seen Tom Brady get booed a couple times. But Zappe, they always talk about this as a defense. When a quarterback drops the ball, you got to stay ready because plays sometimes break down, and Zappe does a good job not panicking, picks up the ball, looks down the field, nothing's open. He finds an open gap and picks up positive yards.
All right, Brian, I spent 9 years as a backup. You've been a starter. You've bounced around. You've been on multiple teams.
On the offense,
how tough is it for a guy like Bailey
that's a 5-yard
Zappe?
penalty. Second down.
How tough is it for a guy like Bailey Zappe who wants to play, but realizes, hey, you get the number 3 pick. They went out, they signed Jacoby Brissett to be that veteran. Where does he fit in here?
Yeah, I think I've been in similar situations, right? You just don't know how it's going to fit in. But also, I think, I remember being a player and Coach Belichick being, basically saying, look, you're playing for us, but you're also auditioning for 31 other teams out there. So, for Zappe to come out and execute some plays, that's good film. And does he end up here? Maybe he does. But if not, at least you want to go out there and play as good as you can to show the league that you can be, a productive player somewhere else.
So it's coming back.
So I'll say this about Bailey Zappe, and it is a tough situation. Obviously, he sees the writing on the wall, and he has done and said all the right things.
Yeah.
And, for me, from afar, and I've talked to you guys a little bit about this, I'd be surprised if he's still here, sort of at the end of camp, and the fact that he hasn't really asked to go somewhere else, I think, is a testament to his professionalism. I think he's really handled it well. It can't be an easy situation for him.
He's out there early. The practices I've been to, he's out there late. The one-on-ones, the individuals, and Brian, this, like, he's accurate. Like, it's methodical, but you don't see a ton of reps in practice because they're trying to get Jacoby and eventually Drake ready.
Right, and like you said, it's the quality of the reps. It's not the amount of reps. So if you get 5 reps, you just try to get 5 quality reps, and then now here's your chance. You're going to get a lot of playing time. When you're in Bailey's situation, we talked about it, with this offensive line. They don't want Drake and Jacoby playing, so you're going to play a lot. So go out there and execute and let the chips fall where they may.
And plays like that one right there for Bailey Zappe. We mentioned Joe Milton. We mentioned Drake May. For Zappe, he gets in there, he sees it, he motions them out to empty, he checks the play at the line of scrimmage, and he gets them into an efficient play. Like, those are the things for Zappe. Like, you're looked at as one of the veterans in the room. You're still extremely young yourself, but you're looked at it, and you have to pick this offense up and be able to do it better than the rookies because, Dev, in this league, if there's a guy younger than you and he's just as good as you, we're going to keep the younger guy. So this is a great opportunity for him to showcase not only his ability of making plays, but also his smarts with picking up the offense.
3rd and 14.
And it's another one. We keep talking about these long yardage situations. I think they got to get back to trying to run this football as Jalen Rager falls on the play. Looks at the sideline for a flag.
But there's 2 penalties on this drive. And you have 2 penalties. You have a holding, you have a false start. Like, those are the things that Gerard Mayo said that he wants to see clean. As we're watching Rager right here, he felt like he got pulled down as the left hand of the DB right there was on his back. There's no call on this one. Ooh. That one shouldn't have been a penalty right there. A little helmet-to-helmet contact on Bailey Zappe.
Yeah, we talked about, operation, guys. I remember playing a lot of preseason games where you're moving, and then there's a holding penalty, and you're back 10 yards. And so I think, for me, that's part of the operation is no penalties.
Intentional grounding on the offense, number 4. There was no receiver in the area, and he's in the pocket. So loss of down, 10-yard penalty, 4th down.
Yeah, that's what Alex Van Pelt is telling Bailey there. Like, you got to at least get it around the guy.
Yeah.
You know, you're not outside that tackle box. I was wondering if you were going to get the crown of the helmet.
Yeah,
that's what I was
wondering.
Did New York, you know, since it's preseason, is New York looking at that and saying, hey, guys, we got to get this call right?
Yeah, Zoe, I like this. I like the McCourty sitting there. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I'm sure I'm sure if they were, you know, if they were on the field
Clean
playing
hit.
defense, they would have thought that was a real penalty.
Yeah, clean
Hey, Paul,
hit.
you didn't hear me say the DB pulled him down. I still see the defense. I was trying to be nice about it.
Yeah, and from my quarterback perspective, I'm saying the receiver fell down. He's throwing it with anticipation. This shouldn't be pass.
I agree.
Intentional grounding. He's throwing with anticipation. It's where you look at, you know, the receiver and go, where are you?
Let's take a look at the timing here, though. It's a good end zone view here. So you see Rager go down right there, but now you get the pressure.
Yeah.
That's
All right, Brian.
I get
the
it.
receiver
Oh.
falls 10 seconds before
I'm trying
he
to
lets
stick
the
up
ball
for the guy,
go.
okay? I'm just trying to stick up for him. He's looking the safety off. He comes back to throw with anticipation. The guy's down on the ground.
Once a quarterback, always a quarterback.
But the sloppiness, guys, again, you know, it's another long yardage situation set up by pre-snap penalty, really. I mean, the holding call is what it is, but it's another false start that pushes you back. You know, this is the stuff I think they need to clean up. They had a ton of pre-snap penalties pretty much every day in practice. It's obviously carried into the game.
Paul, you're right, and they were in a good rhythm in that drive, and that's what the NFL and football is about. Now you set this drive up where you don't play well on the last one, and now the defense comes up and gives up a big yardage. So tough break right here, and you can see this is not a tough play. Jimenez jumps inside, and that allows the back to get the edge. We always have to stay outside as a defense. You have to do that, because if you don't, you give up big plays, and I'm sure DC, DeMarcus Covington, is going to talk about that early tomorrow.
No edge, no chance.
Plummer. You get the rookie from Louisville in now. Jack Plummer. I thought I saw Jake real quick. He's wearing 16. Like,
Flash
oh
to that.
Jake Plummer's still in the league.
Zoe, you're going to say, hey,
Jake
I may need to go back out there too. If Jake the Snake's out there.
You guys look like you can still play, though.
Well, that's the plan. You retire, you try to work out enough that when you show up, people are like, man, you look like you can still play. And you're like, yeah, you know what? I could probably give them 10 plays. And you know, if you did, they'd be striking the band like in college. It'd be a touchdown.
Yeah, give him 25 more.
Your plan would be 10 plays. After the third play, you'd probably be hurt.
I mean, you're talking about yourself, not me, buddy.
All right, that's going to do it for the first quarter. 0-0. A little sloppy. Got to clean some things up. We'll be back after this.
Patriots preseason football is brought to you by Cross Insurance, official insurance broker of the New England Patriots. And by Gillette Labs with exfoliating bar, Gillette's ultimate shaving experience.
We talked about the play where Jimenez jumps inside, and you can see Mayo's coaching, but you don't need Gerard Mayo in this situation. Matthew Judon comes up to him, and he's coaching him. He walks away. Hold on. I got more to say. And this is a key part of the preseason. When veterans aren't playing, or they are, and then they come out, is coaching up the younger guys. That builds culture. That builds camaraderie. As a team, you want to always be playing. And Judon's not playing tonight, but he's taking mental reps and helping the young guys.
I think it's also so important because you can't ignore the fact that a week ago we were talking about Matthew Judon, and he's unhappy in his contract, and he's at practice and he's not at practice. And when you're seeing that on the sideline, and Gerard Mayo has said it, like they moved on past this, and that shows that, and everybody's questioning, well, Judon's there, but is he really happy? And I think what you fail to realize for professional athletes, when you're there and you're around these guys every single day, regardless of your contract situation, once you're on the field and you're in the building, you want to be out there for your guys and you want to play. And you can see that passion with Judon, just coaching on the sideline of him wanting his guys to do great.
Yeah, and I think even when you talk about Judon, last thing is, if you think he's just not out here because of the contract, he seems a little banged up, like the rest of the guys not playing tonight, and that's why he's not out here. And you can see, without Judon, this team sends an extra linebacker. Joe Giles Harris comes in, as a blitz player, and he tips the ball away from Plummer to make this incomplete pass and get you off the field. When you don't have some of the normal guys rushing the edge, Barmore, Judon, sending a linebacker can help out, and Joe Giles-Harris does a good job on the running back of not just running right down the running back's chest, but picking a side and creating some pressure right there, what we call ball disruption.
I was looking at Covington. He's like, yeah, I drew that one up. That was my play right there.
We're going to take a look at David Walls here, guys, number 30. He's made some plays during camp. Special teamer, wide receiver. Sort of an Amendola type. Juggle that. Kids are out in the rain. No school yet, kids. Don't worry, 2 more weeks. It's the best time of year. We'll be back. Let's take a look at who's on the field, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots. And guys, tackle, a position of concern somewhat. You know, how it was addressed during the offseason. You signed Chooks, Okorafor from Pittsburgh. Calvin Anderson is back. He had malaria. His return. Fedarian Lowe is still here. And he's gotten all the reps at left tackle this week. So they're shuffling a lot of bodies in and out.
And they're trying to figure out the right combination of what it's going to be. You haven't even mentioned the rookie Caden Wallace, who's seen some time at tackle as well in training camp. And it's been a revolving door for them. The one consistent has been, you've seen the middle of it. It's been Michael Wynn, it's been Sidney Soul, it's been David Andrews in the interior of that offensive line. But the one thing, Dev, that we got to remember, Big Michael Winu, he's a guy that has versatility. They can always decide, you know what, we're going to just move him to tackle and figure out what are going to be our best 5 to put out there as the offensive line.
And Gerard Mayo talked about that. That's what they're searching for. He didn't come in and talk about we have all the answers and we know. This game, next game, they're trying to find what that best 5 is. And I think Michael Owenu going back outside the right tackle possibly could be a part of being the best 5. They paid him like a tackle, so there's a chance that I think that they view, hey, if we have to, we can move him outside if that gives us the best 5. We're seeing Michael Jordan play tonight inside at guard. Maybe he shows up on film like he had a great game, and they say, you know what, maybe we'll bump him inside and we'll move Big Mike back outside. So we'll have to see how that all shakes out for this team up front.
Crumedy is down. Carolina has a player down. We'll take a break. We'll be back right after this. 0-0, second quarter. We are back. Here's a good look right there of the 2 quarterbacks we saw before Bailey Zappi. Jacoby Brissett, Drake May. I think we all wanted to see Drake May a little more. And I think that's what the boos were for. They weren't booing Zappi. They just want to see more of the number 3 overall pick. Both guys, what they got in their ear there?
Yeah, and I think we can let Hoyer talk about this, but these quarterbacks, they have earpieces and they're listening to the play call. Hoyer, how important was that during these preseason games as a quarterback to keep getting the plays in your ear and kind of still getting all those mental reps?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it before. This is, for these young guys, first time really having to hear these plays, call them back. So, you know, for me, I always remember, I always keep my helmet on because that's even more realistic. And you listen to plays, and then as you're watching, you're like, what am I going to do on this play? And play it out yourself.
It's nice little flip by Zappi right there. Breaks containment, slides up.
And that's what Zappi has. He has a little bit of a playmaker in him. He could have ran and picked up this first down, but he said, hey, let me see if I can kick it out to Booty and see if he can go make more yards than I can. So a really good play, and I think this could hopefully get this offense in rhythm to have a good drive and put some points on the board.
He's kind of uncanny a little bit. Like, people forget how productive he was in college.
Yep.
Good run.
So that gets you 5 right there. You know, we spoke with Kevin Harris yesterday, and you know, the point of emphasis here is they got to be able to grind it out. You know, Ramondre's got to be big. If Kevin gets in the game, he's got to be able to get you 4. I think they like running behind Owenu. And Brian, with these tackles and how this thing's playing out with Owenu inside, I wonder if they like Andrews in the middle, David Andrews, Sidney So left guard, Mike Owenu right guard. Because I go back to when Tom was here, Tom would tell me, I don't like people in the middle at my feet. Yep. I can handle edge as long as I can see it. It's the stuff in the middle that I can't take care of.
Yeah, for so many years, the inside of the pocket was so, you know, integral to how Tom played. And I think the one thing I know we talked about, who's going to be the tackles. The one thing is you can always help out the tackles a little bit with an extra tight end or the back chipping a defensive end. It's harder to help those interior guys. So if you have a solid interior and you could step up into the pocket, you run the outside rush by and try to play like that. I think that, figuring out how to help a tackle is much easier than if you have an issue at guard or center.
Yeah, it's a double in cut to that left side. I think Baker rolled that route a little bit, made it easier for the defensive back to break on that ball.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you that, guys, particularly the quarterback. You'd like to see him maybe come back for that one a little bit more and get the inside leverage, yeah.
He lost it.
Yeah, Paul, when you look at that route and you're watching the DB, the one thing he never was threatened by Baker to run by him. So he starts to slow down out of his back pedal when he broke up that in cut. And then right here, I like the decision to try to go back to him and let him make a play. The ball's just nowhere to be found.
He tried to back shoulder him there?
I think so. And that's where you're not on the same page and you're trying to get those things. That's the hard thing as a rookie, as a receiver, when you're trying to figure all these things out. Reading coverage. I may know my route is, but hey, are they in cover 2? Are they in man? All of those things going on in your head.
And that goes back to reps. Sappy hasn't had a lot of reps probably throwing to Baker, so being on the same page doesn't always show up. But that's also why we play these preseason games.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, young receivers, you coming from college where you're the top guy. Now you're going in the NFL, and even if it's the backup corner, they can cover. And so you got to be able to look and be like, I'm not just beating this guy, I might get a back shoulder here.
All right, the road travel to get here for Jerod Mayo. Going back, Patriots drafted him, as I said off the top, number 10 overall in 2008. 8 seasons with the team. He went to 2 Pro Bowls. Was a member of the Super Bowl 49 championship team. He joined the Patriots coaching staff in 2019 and was named head coach on January 12th.
He had a lot of hair back then. This coaching life has changed him.
Are you going to be the one to comment on having a lot of hair back
I'm just saying.
Well, you got 3 bald guys on this. Flag down.
Holding on the offense, number 61, half the distance of the goal. First down.
All right, we mentioned Jerod Mayo. His quarterback is with Steve Burton. Time for our player interview, brought to you by Cross Insurance, official insurance broker of the New England Patriots. Let's go down to Steve.
All right, Scott Zolak, thank you very much. You know things have changed when you can actually talk to a player during a game. And joining me now is Patriot quarterback Jacoby Brissett. 8 years ago, you were here, my friend.
Yep. Excited to be back. Excited to be out here today. First preseason game back in the old jersey, so feels good.
How weird is it when you're out on the field with a bunch of young guys that you don't even know all that much? As a matter of fact, your teammate, the only other teammate was up in the broadcast booth.
Yeah, I got a couple of them up there, the ball head crew, him, Jason, and Devin and Hoyer. So saw them earlier this week, but it's been good. Been out here with a lot of these young guys. I mean, and obviously some familiar with David and things like that. So it's been good. I'm excited for this year.
Tell me about your first series. It's strange, because you only get one series, right?
Yeah.
And then the next guy goes, and the next guy goes.
Yeah, and that's just like the main thing was the operation, calling the play, getting up to the huddle, getting a snap, getting some plays ran. Obviously, you want to go down there and score, but I think operation and communication was our main objective, and I think we did that.
How much confidence do you have in this offensive line?
Oh, I'm excited. Even one of the plays here, nobody was near me, so I got a chance to look to both sides of the field, which is rare in that protection, and so I'm excited for those guys and for what they can show. I mean, they've had a good training camp, so I think they'll continue.
I'll let you throw it back up to Scott and Cody.
Yeah, I'll see Devin and Jason and Corey after the game, so hopefully they've been nice to me throughout this broadcast.
They have been. All right, go back to the teammates. All right, Jacoby Brissett, I guess. Guys, back up to you.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Jacoby. And Jacoby was surprised he had that time to throw. Because he got caught a little flat-footed and he had to reset.
And I'm surprised he's saying, hopefully we're nice. What does he want us to be nice about? There's no touchdowns, no field goals. He hasn't done much that we should be nice to him, but, we're not being mean.
Don't listen to radio.
There you go, Scott. The one cool thing I'll say of getting a chance to talk to Jacoby yesterday, he talked about when he was here the first time, he was the youngest player on the team, and now he's like the second oldest player on the team. But it was really good to talk to him about his role here on this team. And
Shaun Wade
There was a saying when I was a DB, CTTOY, catch the ones they throw you. And he's dropping that. You're going to see him right here at the top of the screen. And this is excellent. We call this almost like synchronized swimmers. As soon as the DB starts to, as soon as the receiver starts to get out of his break, the DB matches him, and the ball hits him right in the paws, and he's not able to hold on to it. He's going to want that one back, that's for sure.
And being someone who's dropped a lot of interceptions in my career, Sean Wade, all I can say is catch the next one they throw you.
Where was that? Where was that one? It was just like popped right up
Miami, 2022.
It was also the Jets too. I can go down a long list of them.
I was thinking Jets.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, so we can get into it.
Well, somehow I still have one of you. You talk about David Walls. You gotta love that. You can't see, but right in front of us, there's a David Walls jersey.
David Walls
standing up, cheering as he has a punt return. He's made plays in training camp, like you said, Zo.
24-yard return right here, and this kid's been making some plays in camp. He's opened some eyes. Now, if you're not going to be a dynamic offense, what are you going to have to do? Play really good defense, get off the field on third down, and be solid in special teams. Special teams were slacking here the last couple of years.
Can I ask you guys a question? Where did David Wallace go to school?
Rutgers.
Randolph-Macon.
Randolph-Macon?
Yes. Which is located where?
I don't know.
Virginia. Come on, man, do your research. Number 30 out there getting it done.
Zappe goes short there, but you can see after a big return, the Patriots look to try to go down the field. They had 3 routes streaking down the field. No one was open, so Zappe just tried to throw it underneath to Wilcox. Doesn't work out, but you can see the aggressive nature of, hey, we haven't had a lot of movement as an offense. Walls gets us a nice return. Let's try to take advantage of it by putting 6 on the board.
You gotta love that, though. Like, look at Dietrich Wise, Jabril Peppers, all of those guys celebrating with Wallace on the sideline after he has a big return. That's the stuff that you love. They're spitting out their sunflower seeds, but still cheering on their guys.
Tough shot right there. Pressure look here for Zappe. Try to get it to the back. Had to ground it.
We might be finding a new star of the preseason for the Patriots with Wallace. You can see making plays. And this is a tough thing. After that great return, you decide to try to take a shot down the field. It doesn't work out. So it comes 2nd and 10. Then you throw another pass.
And it's pressure.
Exactly. Now it's 3rd and 10. Puts a little bit of pressure, but I think this is some of the situations Van Pelt, he probably wants to get some work out of it in the preseason. Maybe not this much, but it's showing up.
Let's see Baker down the bottom.
Got hit.
Nice catch.
Deshaun Booty with the snag. He had 2 big catches from Drake May in the red zone period this past week. It's a 28-yard throw to the left side. I thought Bailey Zappe got hit here as he's thrown it. Nope.
In the NFL, that's a pretty clean pocket where you can step up in the what we call the B gap to your left side. We're over here talking about the offensive line, the protection. But Keishawn Booty, a great all-hands catch to pick up a big first down.
Showing off the hands in the rain.
Changing play again. Hey, Brian Hoyer, when he brings Polk in and he calls out a number, I think he said what, 27. Is he telling him to block him? Is that part of this scheme?
Yeah, you got to block force. I know Devin, being a safety, you come down to that box, someone's got to account for you, or else he's going to have a free run at the running back. So I think Bailey right there, hey, Polk, come down, you got to block this safety for us to be able to not have a free runner on that gap scheme play right there.
And you can see as Kevin Harris had given the ball. Kevin Harris talked to us yesterday about this offense. When you get the ball in your hands, you're just looking at the gap. And if one gap gets cut off, you go to the next gap. That gap gets cut off. You find the end zone and you score a touchdown, Kevin Harris. That's what I'm talking about. And he said he knows they want to run the ball. Let's go.
You forget. They really don't hit in practice. You guys remember, like, with the new rules with the league and the NFLPA and what they're doing to help player safety, this is the first time you're really getting a crack of the helmet. Just a little give underneath. Gives you the look of the slip screen. It's a good hard run by Harris.
Good coaches always talk about goal line tackling. for a running back, when you get hit on the goal line or the 1-yard line, you have to find a way to get the ball across the end zone, and Kevin Harris does that right here.
Should never throw it down there, right? Get the ball first and go inside the 5. You guys got to ram that home. Started with special teams. You get the big 24-yard return, sets you up. You get a big catch, a 28-yarder to Booty, and Kevin Harris with the touchdown. Here left in the second quarter, it's kind of come to a standstill, but here we go with the new kickoff again.
We want to see as many kickoffs as possible.
Yes. It may be one of the most entertaining plays. I mean, can you imagine that with like Marcus Jones?
Exactly.
So if you're going to become a good zone blocking team, that could potentially be a weapon for you. Wall guys off, let him crease it.
And then teams have even talked about having kickers that are not just a kicker and have a defensive player kick off if it can help bring an extra tackler on the field.
See, what's interesting there, the 2 outside gunners, so the guys on the outside, what do you call them, the ones?
Yep.
R1, L1. So they kind of peel back, loop back to where they sort of become the safety to not put the whole onus on the kicker.
You got to try to create a second line of defense just in case somebody breaks through. You have somebody to get them on the ground. And that play for Carolina was a little bit more patience, and it looked like a hole opened up later against the kickoff team.
And that's Jeremy Springer, the special teams coordinator. And I think for all the coordinators across the league, it's so hard to implement rules for these guys on kickoff and kickoff return because the coaches are still figuring out exactly what it's going to look like.
Good job getting up.
That's a good finish by Joe Giles Harris of understanding you're not in college anymore. Somebody catches and falls, they get back up. You got to tackle them and get them back on the ground. And that's big for all these young players. Joe Giles Harris is a veteran player now. He's been on Buffalo, he's been on Jacksonville, a couple different teams. But this is a key part in the game for these guys to try to show up special teams, defense, offense, and try to make some plays.
All right, we got movement. False start.
False start on the offense, number 64. That's a 5-yard penalty. Second down.
So, Dev, people on social media heard Brian Hoyer give the terminology for a play call on offense. They want you to give a play call here to what this defensive set would be. The best you can.
The best part about playing defense, this right here is probably just good old over cover 2. Nice and easy, tells everybody what to do.
Man, you guys got it easy.
And you don't have to say all these words.
All right, let's take a look at your defensive tackle depth chart. Obviously, it all starts with Christian Barmore.
Yep.
A tough break these past couple weeks here. You got a quality. We've seen Farms make some plays. Can't forget about Sam Roberts, Bronson, Hill, Purcell, and Watts. A lot of new names.
And one key name missing in there is Devon Gottschall, who will really be the guy they lean on with Christian Barmore out. And I look at a guy like you just said, Zoe, Sam Roberts. He's been there for a while. He showed up a little bit. They're going to need him to step up this year.
This is a really good play here by the quarterback, Plummer. You know, he gets pressure, but keeps his feet and hangs on enough to get this ball out to the left flat. They have a nice gainer right there. That's about 28 yards.
And you can see Carolina runs this crossing pattern. Right here, number 81 runs across, and you can see right away the DBs run into each other. Carolina knows it's man-to-man. You're going to force these DBs to avoid each other and try to cover, and that's when you create space to get a big gain like that.
It's only their second first down. Oh, didn't get back to the line of scrimmage. Was that a fumble?
Get on the ball and let the refs figure it out.
So he's outside the tackle box, but it did not get back to the original line of scrimmage, I think.
And now the refs are meeting, convening, and there it goes.
There it goes,
There you go, Zoe.
Nice.
So it's like, I had quite a few of those intentional groundings. I know what those look like.
That's right. I'm still the color guy. Now, that's an easy one here for Scott Novak. It does give you a little bit of an escape hatch.
Intentional grounding on the offense, number 16. It's a spot foul and loss of down. Second down.
You know, this benefits a guy like Mahomes. You know, you cover him up, you get the rush on him, and he has the ability to get out past the tackle box, and he can get it past the line of scrimmage. See right there, falls right there on the 40.
Yep, so you make a great point. Outside that tackle box, he does everything right in that situation, but just doesn't have enough on that ball to get it back there.
And John Morgan, a rookie out of Arkansas, getting a chance to get out there and get after the quarterback. Good speed off the edge, and they're going to need that. They're going to need pressure from all different guys. Oh, what a play.
Oh, he got rocked. I think he had Hill with the pressure here.
And I've talked to a few defensive coaches. They talked about Jimenez has showed up and been explosive off the edge. That's what you call speed to power. You look like you're going to run off the edge and run around a guy, and you run through his chest, put him on the floor, and get a quarterback strip sack. Really good play by Jimenez, showing up not just on defense. They talked about how he's really played well on special teams as well.
Jimenez is out there and he's like, you know what? Matthew Judon got in my ear on the sideline, and he almost tried to do, he should have did the celebration that Judon did.
Move. He just needs the red sleeves.
Good tackle. What do you guys make of guys that don't play, go back inside, you're going to dress out in uniform on the sideline? Like, that's something new here. What really bugs me in some of the preseason games we would do over the years, you get the big ego guys on, whether it's the Cowboys or somewhere else, they're done. They shut it down. Pads come off, I put the shirt on, hanging out.
It's like a rite of passage, though. Like, you earn it, but I guess we're old now when we're sitting up in the booth, so we always kept all our equipment on. You could unbuckle the shoulder pads, but you had to keep all of it on. You didn't have to wear your helmet. But you're right, though. I mean, a year ago, Sean Payton, he gets to the Broncos, and we're having bucket hat conversations and all type of stuff surrounding what guys should be doing in the preseason.
That's a little extreme there, But I'm just like, I always thought, like, okay, I'm done. You know, I don't have to deal with this anymore. I just like the mentality here of what they've done over the years. Like, Parcells had that. Pete Carroll carried that over. I know Bill did.
And it's a thought process of keep your pads on, because I still want you to be in the game mentally. Go through it, because in a few weeks, it'll be real, and you'll all be out there playing a whole game. You don't want to be mentally taxed when you have to play 4 quarters in September.
And as we see Bailey Zappi coming back into the game, I think for the New England Patriots, they're looking at it. They have a joint practice this upcoming week after this game with the Philadelphia Eagles. So May's not getting a lot of time. Jacoby Brissett's not getting a lot of time today. But they're going to get a ton of practice reps against another team in the Eagles. So it's kind of where for Gerard Mayo, you're trying to balance it and make sure the guys are getting some work, but you're keeping them healthy and making sure you're playing in the best you can for the season.
And you're still evaluating guys. You're still evaluating Bailey Zappi. And I'm sure we'll see a lot of Joe Milton in the second half, because you're still evaluating him as well.
Yeah, he's tackled here, keeps the clock running. You're down to 3:41 in the first half. You have an opportunity here, potentially have a live 2-minute drill.
Yep. And everybody practices this in practice. You go through your 2-minute drill, but you don't always get a chance to do it in a game. And I know every coach hopes in a preseason game that you get a chance to run a real live 2-minute drill. So we'll see it right here with Bailey Zappi.
There's Joe Milton, who you were talking about. Big guy. Look at the arms.
And we're going to be excited to see a little bit of him in the second half, because I can't wait to just see his first play. He talked about being at Michigan and Jim Harbaugh telling him a story about how Jim Harbaugh was just so excited. He celebrated that his first play was a successful play. Everybody did the right thing, and they got the ball out of his hands. So I can't wait to see what Joe Milton's first play looks like. Get
that? Oh, he got it. It's a good grab on Wilcox there. If he goes down here, see if he gets the hands underneath.
Let's see if they rush to the ball just in case.
You got it.
Yeah, that's a good catch. Really good job by him. And Dev, you mentioned rushing to the ball, and that happens all the time as you see as the clock is rolling. We're getting close to that 2 minutes because you want to make sure if it is a close one, you're on the ball quick before they can challenge it.
Yeah, and now that they know it's a catch, it looks like they're going to be patient, let this thing go down to the 2-minute warning.
All right, 2 minutes till halftime. See if the Patriots take a shot here. We'll be right back. Wait a minute, we have a challenge flag. And what people fail to notice, like, okay, Alex Van Pelt is your coordinator. You still have T.C. McCartney, quarterback coach. Evan Rothstein's still here. Ben McAdoo was brought in to sort of kind of oversee the whole offense. So you really have 4 guys working that quarterback room with a couple new guys in there. And that's a catch. We'll be right back. Welcome back. 2-minute warning. No, not 2-minute warning. Incomplete pass. It is 4th and 5. They added time to the clock. So we're at 2:42 still left in the second quarter. Thought he caught that.
Definitely did. It went back underneath the hood and was able to figure this thing out.
And that's why I said that's a situation if they would have rushed to the ball and maybe snapped another play, it would have been too late. You would have got a first down and got a chance to really jump into that 2-minute drill, but you don't do that now. You're punting, and
your defense gets a rep.
Exactly. Now your defense was due 2 minutes. A little bit of a line drive.
Oh, you gotta watch that potential. That they could call.
This might be
drop tackle.
This might be
hip drop.
The first hip drop tackle.
During the return,
big time.
legal block in the back, receiving team number 87. It's a 10-yard penalty, first down.
I thought Dow did a good job holding off there because I think he knew he had him wrangled up, and he's got to take him down, but you know, I'm going to let him go.
And what I'll be interested in is, will Dow get a FedEx next week
warning
and saying, hey, they didn't call it, but this is a hip drop tackle. And I'm sure after this first week of preseason games, there'll be some type of video and memo sent out to players of what it looks like. This is a hip drop tackle. This isn't, as they try to figure out how they're going to referee and call this penalty this year.
Did you guys get a lot of those?
Probably. Tackling big guys. I had to put my weight on them. We just called it a tackle back then, though.
The game is changing.
So since we had to add time back onto the clock to get to 2:42, once we get down to the 2-minute mark, we're going to take a 1-minute, 2-minute warning. If that makes any sense. It's almost like the kickoff rule. All right, guys, I don't know if you knew what yesterday was. It wasn't the 7th. It was Steve Burton Day in Boston. So thanks to the governor and thanks to the mayor, Steve, look at his throw here. Look at Jacoby. You know, and as good as Steve has been for 30 years, he's seen with all the rings there. It's not always peaches and cream. It's not easy. It's not just cupcakes and rainbows. There he is in Germany last year with the Lederhosen. And here he is with his shirt. Steve,
wow.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
I appreciate that, guys. It's been a lot of fun over the last 30 years. A lot of parades, a lot of winning. It's all about the Patriots tradition and the other teams in this city as well. But you know what? So far, so good. First half, Patriots scoring and getting in the end zone.
You didn't practice that throw, did you?
No, I didn't practice that throw.
No, that was all money.
No.
Steve, I got to tell you, I talked to Kayla. Kayla said, please, that man does not need any more attention for a whole day, maybe an hour. And she said, your day consists of Skechers unlimited ice cream, and his hair comb.
Hey, can you ask Kayla how many of those shirts he has?
You guys are absolutely killing me.
Steve's been wearing a shirt for 10 years
You
now.
guys are killing me.
It's a good-looking shirt.
I appreciate it.
I saw you 4th of July barbecue down at Cape. You had that shirt on.
Steve, even your daughter's coming for you. Come on. You're supposed to be celebrating.
Steve?
I'm very humbled, very honored by it. There's no question about that, but my kids have been throwing me under the bus all day long.
All the great moments you've had. My favorite is the alligator moment. We got to watch this tape
no,
again.
not again. Not again.
There is in
We
studio.
don't show this again.
Hold him tight. Hold him tight. Hold him tight.
You know what? Hey,
Hold him tight.
I am.
Got him.
I am.
That's okay. All right.
Come on, Johnny. You got it.
Watch the jacket pop here.
Here's what you need to know. I didn't drop it. I didn't drop it.
Steve,
yes.
I'd like to present you with a gift if you don't mind opening it. I know your birthday is Sunday.
Me and Dev wrapped that for you.
You guys.
A little less fearsome.
I appreciate this.
You can thank Stacy.
More than you know.
Stacy from Patriot Place.
Yep. Yes.
Thank you, Stacy from Patriot Place. Hey, let me tell you something. I'm going to call this the McCourty.
I thought you were going to call it I am.
You know, when that happened, I had about 100 of these things come to my house. Hey, enjoy listening to you guys. Thank you very much.
Steve. What do you got coming up at halftime?
We're going to look at the content, NFL teams, and what the Patriots bring to the table in informing the fans all over New England. Robert Kraft has done a super job at taking this thing to a completely different level.
Don't drop that alligator.
The McCourter. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Steve.
All right.
Is there no Zola?
Delayed blitz.
There you go, Christian Ellis. I asked Dante Hightower about Christian Ellis in pregame, and he said this guy has been causing havoc. He said he's a good football player, runs downhill. Hightower said, I tried to show him how to do certain things. He said, Coach, I just want to go hit somebody. That's what we call a good old swim move. Out-quicks the offensive lineman and goes and gets his first sack of the preseason, Christian Ellis.
And it was the 1-2 step that he hit him with. And he's a smaller guy going against a bigger guy who's caught flat-footed right there, the center, and he makes him pay right there. You get an opportunity as he's talking to his defensive coordinator, DeMarcus Covington, right there, and he's signaling my fault. He knew he messed something up on that play, but at the end of the day, it resulted in a sack, so it's a lot easier to watch that in the film room tomorrow.
Just saw Slater give him the dap there. How important is it to have those type of guys around? You know, they talk Slater into helping out. We've seen Chung around, Nikovic. You mentioned Hightower, Mr. February. How much did he have to twist his arm to become a coach?
Yeah, I know. He told me he was just playing golf every day. So when they asked him, he was like, you know what, maybe I should be doing something else other than playing golf. And I think he's been really good, even talking to some of the linebackers. When they talk to Hightower, they get a real-life experience of what he's telling them, in-game situations, how he handled it, how they might be able to handle it. And Hightower told me, he said, the only thing I had to get used to was making all the cut-ups and all the stuff on the computer, and now he's getting, you know, a little bit more familiar with that, more comfortable, and he said he's really enjoying coaching.
I mean, how cool is it for these linebackers? You have a coach and an inside linebacker like Dante Hightower who's coaching you up, but you can also go talk to your head coach and Gerard Mayo, who was at that position before Hightower got there and passed the torch to him. So much experience and so much guys on this team that have won. And so you mentioned a guy like Matthew Slater, and he's on part of this staff. This guy's a 3-time Super Bowl winner.
You guys don't remember. You guys have no clue how easy we've had it with the iPads and Microsoft Surface. They can flip that around. No, you guys get on a flight. Like I travel with the team, and I see you guys get handed these tablets. An hour after the game, they flip the film over. I used to cut it up by hand with Jimmy D. We would splice actual film and tape it together with Scotch tape. Jimmy D in the back room. Jimmy D, over 30 years here. Yep. Unbelievable. Great video guy. Congrats to him.
Scotch tape?
Scotch tape.
So you're telling your age here. I'm like, I remember having the pictures on the sideline. I thought that made me old.
Ray Perkins with an overhead projector with a black marker drawing things, plays up on an overhead screen. Like, that's what we did.
And we're not that young. We had the big binders that you had to carry around and put in your book bag. And Coach Belichick used to make sure you had your binder with you on the road. Kayshon Boutte's showing up again.
I'll tell you what. So as I said, Booty made a couple catches this week. And as this receiver depth chart shakes down, are they going to keep 5? Are they going to keep 6? Are they going to squeeze somebody in the practice squad? You know, he's right in that area. And you keep making plays like that. Remember the one in Green Bay last year, the slant he took for the touchdown.
And that's the hardest thing in training camp mentally for these guys right now, because it's so hard to warn against looking at the roster and looking at the depth chart. You got 2 rookie wide receivers and Baker and Polk. They're not going anywhere. Pop Douglas is a guy that jumps off the film when he's out there with his quickness and his speed. He's not going anywhere. There's a big hit coming across the middle as he holds on to that one. And then you bring in a guy like KJ Osborne. And you also have KB's on the side, Kendrick Bourne, who's going through an injury right now. So there's only but so many roster spots, but the only thing you can do is what Bootie's doing is making plays out there as Zappy's getting his 2-minute drill rolling.
Zappy in a little bit of rhythm here. He hit that 16-yarder to Booty to get you the first down there. Hit Wilcox on a little flat route to the left.
And I think one of the key things you talked about, this 2-minute drill, is good for the players, but it's really good for Alex Van Pelt. You haven't done a 2-minute drill since last season, so to get back in the rhythm of calling plays, calling the right plays, getting guys that are in rhythm like Booty and maybe getting them the ball again. So this is just a good moment even for the coaching staff.
That's going to kill the clock. You know, coming into this game, I thought, just based on, you know, conversations we had, that it would be Zappy that would really get the reps that he's gotten here tonight. But they had a plan. So this is what we've been talking about here, guys. Here's your wide receiver depth chart. Obviously, Javon Baker, we like the way he's been playing. You guys mentioned KB's on PUP. DeMario not playing tonight. Pop's not playing. KJ had a pretty good week. He's making some plays now.
And as you look at this
former first-round pick, Rager, go ahead.
Yeah, and you look at this thing, a guy like Tyquan Thornton, who there's been a lot said about him, a speed guy since he's been here. You're trying to see something flash from him. And I look at a big name on this list is a guy right here, and Juju Smith-Schuster. He's a guy that was brought in last year to be the veteran as Jacoby Myers went to Vegas. And we haven't seen much of Juju, if any, so far tonight. And throughout practice a little bit, he's been going with the 3 somewhat.
Yeah,
so
you just wonder if that's telling, because
yes, as an older guy, and you got these young guys going in front of you already in training camp. There's only so many spots in that wide receiver room.
Dealing with that knee too, and reports were early in July that he was moving around pretty good, getting separation, and sort of has come back a little bit.
And it's always so interesting as we talk about the receiver depth chart, and you look at Tyquan Thornton right there. I think everyone tries to figure out of how much did this guy play in the preseason. This guy did this guy did that. It's so hard to tell. We didn't think we would see Zappy a lot tonight.
Yeah.
These coaches have a plan, and we all have to just wait and see. And the only thing we should do is watch what these guys do when they get the reps. Do they make plays or they not? But we have to just see how it works.
That's an incomplete. You got a guy in the area there.
Zimenez is showing up tonight.
Yes, he sure is.
You talk about getting opportunities. He's off the edge again. He's been just very disruptive on this defense, making plays, coming off the edge. He's outside again. And I think he's like, hey, if you're going to put me one-on-one, I'm going to win. And you can see he does a really good job using his hands to beat that block by the offensive lineman.
I want to go down to Brian Hoyer here. Brian, you know, as we approach halftime here, do you think Zappy's going to get the call to make the turn to see how he comes out in the second half, or you think they saw enough and we're going to go with Joe Milton here next?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You never know. I think, like one of them, McCourty said, the coaches have a plan. So if they want to see a lot of Joe Milton, why not come out in the second half and give him the whole second half? I mean, I know from experience, they're like, listen, you're going to play the second quarter. Well, Bill's like, hey, you're going in the third quarter too. We want to see you have an opening drive. So I think it just depends on what these coaches want to see from these guys. And Zappy did a good job. So, you know, we'll see what happens.
All right, that's going to take us down to halftime. Lone touchdown of the night scored by Kevin Harris. Patriots lead the Carolina Panthers 7-zip. I think that's the last we'll see of Bailey Zappi tonight. Probably see Joe Milton, Steve Burton. You'll hear from him next. Got a couple. All right, here's a big one right here.
Dietrich Wise getting right to it, letting everybody know I'm not playing that around here.
Farms getting in on the action, and then Jennings coming in, swipes the ball away. And Jimenez, he was probably the guy in the first half, 93 that you're looking at, of making plays for them. And then we got to talk about the rookie, the number 3 overall pick, Drake May. Didn't see a ton of action. We saw him make good decisions. We saw the operation rolling. There were some penalties while he was in the game, but he made a few throws.
Yeah. Good. We all probably wanted to see more, but I think it was cool for him to get what they say, get his feet wet, get out there, understand, make a call of what to do. But this was probably the biggest play of the half that got the offense in the end zone, was David Wallace getting the punt return going, and then Bootsy going upstairs to make a really good grab.
Tell you what, if you're looking at this, Bootie's made some plays.
Yes.
He really has here tonight. Like, he's the one guy that stood out from the perimeter, and there's Kevin Harris with the big touchdown run. You guys stat guys? What do you look at defensively? Third down?
No doubt about it.
And
First thing, right?
When we talked to Gerard Mayo, that's what he talked to us about. He said, hey, everyone talks about what offensive coordinators do, what plays they run. He said, for me, it comes down to third down. How do we play on third down? Are we converting third downs on offense? Or are we making sure we're getting off the field on defense on third down?
And I will say, when you look at the stats, the other thing you're looking at is penalties. There were times where there was issues of things that aren't a part of the game. It's not just holding, but when you have false starts and things of that nature, you want that to be cleaned up, and the first preseason game is expected.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be imperative that they pound the rock, because you see the rushing yards.
Yes.
Carolina's got more, 40 to 38. They got to be better on first down, but I think that's a product of picking your 5 guys. You know, and you can scheme things. You get behind a winner, you get behind Anderson if you pair them up together. You didn't have David Andrews here, so we'll see what happens here.
And this will be the Patriots' first time getting to do the return part of this new kickoff. They had 2 kickoffs in the first half, so I'm sure Jeremy Springer's excited to even see what the return game looks like. These returners up front, the guys blocking, so it'll be important. Kevin Harris even talked to us yesterday about it. He wants to show that he's improved, that he can play special teams, and can see him back deep as one of the returners right now.
All right, after we get this, we're going to head back downstairs. See how this plays out. It's coming out. Still at the 22. All right, let's go down to Paul Perillo and Brian Hoyer. What are you guys looking for in the second half?
I'd just like to see a little bit of a cleaner operation offensively. Stay out of the long yardage situations. I want to see a little Joe Milton. I'm not going to lie, Brian. I think that the guy obviously has an intriguing skill set. But I'd just like to see it to be a little cleaner.
Yeah, 100%. I think, as we see Zappe go back out here, the operation really is, lack of penalties. Then you're getting in long yardage situations, which makes it tough, especially in a preseason game. You're rotating players in and out. So, see that, less penalties, cleaner operation, and then obviously looking forward to see Joe Milton.
Yeah, and one other thing, Zoe, here, we talk a lot about Drake May and the rookies. You do have a couple of your rookie class up here on the offensive line. Caden Wallace is out there. I think Layden Robinson's out there. So you get a chance to see a little bit of your rookie class and see how they're holding up.
Nice catch by Baker.
There's another one of the rookie class.
Yeah,
climbs the ladder.
Penalty.
Yep.
Yeah, and I thought Polk caught the ball. Strong hands. Those catches were contested.
Yeah, and so we saw that throughout the 11 games that we got a chance to see. If he gets his hands on it, he generally catches it. He's one of those really physical guys. Holding. It's just a penalty on both sides. Holding on both sides. Again, so my whole point about trying to be a little bit cleaner, first play, first snap of the second half, you get another flag.
And really negates a first down. Throw to Baker where you get the chains moving, coming right out of the half. So this is something they got to work on, and Hoyer said it. When you start behind with penalties, it really makes it hard to have a sustainable drive.
Yep, holding both ways.
And again, I know the offensive line, not the most glamorous spot, right? But they need a backup center. Jake Andrews, you guys profiled when you did the medical reports earlier in the game. Jake Andrews was probably going to be the backup center. He's out for the season. They need a guy. Mafi's out there right now, second-year guy. He's really struggled snapping the ball. I think they're trying to force feed him into being that backup center. Nick Leverett, we got a chance to see a little bit. They need somebody behind David Andrews.
That's a tough one right there. Michael Jordan pulling from right to left. This is the block right in the hole.
Yeah, and having played in this system, the center is such an important piece because, in other systems, the quarterback's in charge of making the calls, and in this system, that center has to make those calls. So you really need to come up with someone in case something happens to David Andrews that can really fill in.
And I think that is one of the good things about the preseason is we talked to Jacoby Brissett. He talked about there's been a lot of different combinations up front. So right now it might not look ideal, but what you're hoping for is that you're building versatility. You're building depth, that at some point these guys can play different positions. You just said Mafi's playing center. He struggled a little bit, but you're hoping maybe in September, October, he can develop into that backup center that if anything does happen to David, he can step up and play.
3rd and 2. Nice comfort. Oh, that's a good ball.
Really
Rudy had a chance. Is that really the one you want on 3rd and 2, though? Now, that's something you look down the road. I know it's preseason. And nitpicking here. They're not game planning, but.
Hoyer, what do you think? You were always the guy in
you're
practice.
Chuck and Duck.
It was 3rd and 2, and you throw a 40-yard fade route down the sideline.
Hey, man, Zoe said it. It's preseason. It looked like man coverage. In all honesty, that's always going to be your best chance to hit one of those little fades. And so, it didn't even seem like the tight end was going deep, too. So maybe that was something they were trying to emphasize versus man coverage.
All right, guys. Bad penalty, offsetting. Didn't pick up 3rd and 2. Leads to a punt. Defense will take the field next. Seven to nothing. Your score here in the 3rd quarter, and it's time for tonight's trivia question, brought to you by Bank of America, official bank of the New England Patriots. Prior to Drake May in 2024, he was the last player of the Patriots drafted in the top 10 overall.
I know one thing, whoever it is, they got the old CBA money, so they made a lot of money going in that top 10.
Seymour.
Well, I know for sure it wasn't Devin McCourty because he went at the end of the 1st round, so I know it wasn't that 32.
Well, you went at the end of the 6th round, which is probably a lot rougher.
We're doing Patriots trivia.
Yeah, Brian, it wasn't you, right? Out of Michigan State? Sure wasn't me. But we gotta go to the original top of the show there. That's your head coach, right?
Was it? Did you get it right, Zoe?
Yeah. Scott Gerard, yeah.
Gerard Mayo, 10th overall, just squeaked in that top 10.
Look at these guys.
No smile, guys about
Look at
business.
the hair. Look at the suits, too. The suits are so much more tapered now.
Yes.
Back in the day, man, we had these big suits, the shoulders. Of course, that was Jonathan Kraft and Robert Kraft. Robert, chairman and CEO of both the Patriots and the Kraft Group, and Jonathan, president of the Kraft Group.
Think about for Gerard Mayo, as you look at that picture from that day, we're talking about back in 2008, to think that guy came here from the University of Tennessee, became a captain, won a ton of games. At no point did he think on that day, like at some point he'd be the head coach of this football team and be the one leading them out there in his first preseason game. Really cool journey for Gerard Mayo, who went through some injuries in his playing career and came back as one of the smartest football players that played here, and now he's where he is because of that.
I remember when he came back from Putnam, he just didn't know if he wanted to coach. He had to be coaxed into it. Yeah, Bill got him out of there.
And he talked about those injuries being a part of why he's coaching, because if he would have never got hurt, he wouldn't have journeyed downstairs and started watching film with Steve Belichick and breaking down film because he couldn't play anymore, and started doing all of these different tasks that coaches were doing during his playing career because he got injured 3 years in a row. And he said that's when he knew, all right, I might be able to coach someday. So it showed up and worked out for Gerard.
It's not only the on-the-field stuff, it's the off-the-field stuff. He talked about that in his presser. The opening presser was working for Putnam, and guys like Larry Renfro, what they taught him. You know, people building, team building.
The people
how to
building,
be a leader.
The people building is huge because he said it to us. He's like, you got to show these guys that you love them. And then once you do that, then you can start to coach them and start to develop them. And just getting a chance to be around Gerard the last few days, I think the biggest thing you see is this guy's being himself as his head football coach in New England Patriots. There's no comparisons for him. He's just going out there doing what he knows. And I think that's the part that you got to love. And this defense, you got to love how they've been all around the ball. Joe Giles Harris, again, with another one that he's knocking down.
So you've had 8 drives, 4 first downs have been allowed. That's about it. But here he is again, guys. He's making plays here tonight.
Yeah, Joe Giles Harris, his second ball disruption, getting his hand on the ball. And you can see they're coming aggressive. This defense has been coming downhill. Oftentimes you'll hear coaches talk about when you stand on the sideline, you just look at the line of scrimmage. Are you going forward or are you going backwards? And this defense has been going forward the whole game. And that's a good sign for this New England Patriots team.
4th and 10. Oh.
Play game on the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
They don't want to do that.
Back him up 5 yards and gives our guy David Wallace another chance to possibly have a big return and jumpstart the offense again.
The pride and joy out of Randolph-Macon.
Where's it at? What state?
It's in Virginia.
Yeah, Richmond, Virginia.
Not going to get a chance here. Whoa. Heat fair. Close to not being a fair catch there. It's quick. 7-0 Patriots lead the Panthers. 10:31 left in the third. Welcome back. And there he is. Mr. Kraft, RKK. Change, guys. I mean, things are new. You see Elliott Wolf. He's the new GM. Somebody's got to lead it. That's Mr. Kraft, right?
Yeah, and, you know, over the last few months, just talking to him, he's talked about being excited about some of these changes. He's talked about a lot of things have been the same for 24 years, and it was very successful. And he's also knows that when change comes, you got to be a good leader. You got to know and tell people, and you got to equip Gerard Mayo, Elliott Wolf with what they need. And we were just talking about it. Some of that came from extending guys and giving out new contracts, and they've done that.
Definitely, and you're talking about the change that we're seeing, some of those people in leadership positions. Some of the things that haven't changed with some of the guys that have made plays on this roster. David Andrews gets an extension. They make sure that Kyle Duggar and Jabril Peppers are shoring up the secondary. We watched Gottschall kind of going through whether a hold in or whatever it was, but they make sure that they take care of him. So many different guys, since Elliott Wolf has taken over, they've shored up to keep those guys around here.
Fans get impatient because they want new guys. They want the big free agent to come in. If you don't sign these guys back, you got to replace them. And it also sends a message to your locker room. And Deb, I remember when they told you to go out, check it out, see what free agency's like. You came back. Glad you came back. But it sends a message that if you play well here and you like it here and we draft you and we develop you, we're going to sign you back and you're going to make money.
And that's always an interesting thing. Everyone gets excited about the free agent signings, right? Or Brandon Ayuk's name has been everywhere and everyone's like, oh, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. Sometimes it doesn't work out. You could offer, it looks like all the reports is, you offered the right money, you want everything. He didn't want to come here. His team knows, hey, we're building, we got to get better, we got to make it more attractive, all of those good things. But for right now, we're a team. We recognize who our good players are, we bring them back. We draft them, we develop them, and then we keep them here. That's how you build. The times I was here when we won Super Bowls, it was having guys, drafting them, developing them, and then allowing them to go out and their best years be for the New England Patriots.
All right, let's bring in Paul Perillo. Paul, state of the building right now.
Yeah, it's culture guys, right? It's guys that Gerard Mayo feels comfortable with and that he knows and he understands are going to do the things that he's looking for. And I think that's why you saw so many guys like Kyle Duggar and Michael Wenyu. Those guys were valuable re-signings, and I do agree. And believe me, I fall into it too. I get as frustrated as anybody else when there are bigger name guys, Brian, that are available and you fall a little short. It was disappointing this week to fall short, but at the same time, there's a reason why they wanted to get as many of these guys re-signed that had already worked in that locker room and they already know the message that Gerard Mayo is trying to send.
Yeah, those are leadership guys in the locker room. A David Andrews, a Mike Onwenu, Guys that bring more to the table than just what you see on the field. And so to take care of your own guys, I think, like they were saying up top, people who come in, they realize if I do what I'm supposed to do, they're going to take care of it.
Yeah, you guys mentioned the Ayuk stuff too. I mean, it's Calvin Ridley too. Elliott said we need to weaponize this offense. And you start that by bringing back Hunter Henry, get your tackle lined up, get your center, your all-world center back. And then you made a run at two guys that are, top of the market. Tough landing on his shoulder right there for Bailey Zappi.
Yeah, that hurts.
Ooh. And you can see the pressure right there was off both edges. Both tackles got beaten. And Zappi, you probably know more than I do, Zoe and Hoyer, looks like he was a little deeper in the pocket, so that makes it even harder for these tackles to try to block these defensive ends.
And Zoe, to hit on what you're talking about for Elliott Wolf, and you guys are talking about as a flag comes out here, and we'll wait to see what the call is going to be on this one.
It's got to be a delay. On the offense, it's a 5-yard penalty. We're down.
So delay the game, and they're still kind of going backwards as they're trying to clean up this operation. But there's one thing you definitely want to re-sign your guys, and Dev, you're talking about winning Super Bowls and doing that with keeping the guys in-house. In today's world in the NFL, it's keeping your guys, but it's also making the right free agent acquisitions. We saw a few years ago where the Rams were like, screw all of the picks, and they brought guys in, and they were able to win a Super Bowl with a guy like Matthew Stafford. So I do think, to your point, Elliott Wolf going after Calvin Ridley, being in the conversations about Brandon Ayuk, those are the things that this front office realized, we need to keep our guys, but we also know we're going to need talent from the outside and have to bring some of those guys in. And as you're going through a transition and you're working to get better, you're going to have to offer those guys the money that they're looking for in order to bring them to Foxborough.
And it still might not work. Like Calvin Ridley, he still wanted to go somewhere else, and that's a part of it. You can offer more money in New England, but a guy like Calvin Ridley understands that, hey, there's no state tax in Tennessee.
Talk about it.
Talk about it. The same.
All right, guys, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be joined by team captain, Patriots Wise Jr. Welcome back to Gillette Stadium. 6:09 left in the third. Carolina's got the football. Not a lot of movement, not a lot of yards. Sloppy football here tonight.
That sounds about right for preseason game number one.
Got a bunch of starters out on both sides.
Yep.
Zappi has played extensively. I mean, he made the turn into the second half. We'll see what happens here. It looks like I think Joe Milton's warming up over there. Take a quick peek.
I will say that has been a surprise. I thought when we saw Zappi playing much of that first half, I thought for sure when we came out in that second half, we'd see Joe Milton early on in the third quarter. That hasn't happened. And they all said it was May and Brissett splitting reps, and then Zappi and Milton are splitting reps. So they're still figuring this thing out as well.
Corner blitz picked up. Good job by Plummer there with the read. It looks like we're going to see Milton here. He's warming up on the sideline. Dow comes off the edge. They dial it up. No pun intended.
And Dow's a young rookie that the coaches have seen, in practice throughout training camp, and he's had some good moments. So this is key times for him to get out here and be able to do it in a game-like atmosphere, because it's one thing to do it in practice, but the coaches always talk about, we need to see what you do once game time hits and you get out there for real.
There you go, Dow. You want to see what I do when I come out for real? Come off the edge on the blitz. Running back picks me up, okay. The next one, they try to run the ball to me. Cornerbacks in this league is not just about covering. You have to come up and tackle as well.
I love corners that can tackle. I love it. You can see right there Marcel Dial showing up in training camp practice and now showing up in the game. And I know Mike Pellegrino, you know Mike Pellegrino, the cornerbacks coach for the Patriots. He wants corners that will tackle, who are aggressive, maybe even talk a little bit of trash out there.
I like corners with swagger.
Yes. So were you a guy that played with a lot of swagger?
I played with Ty. Oh, yeah, I talked to two.
That doesn't surprise me.
Used to shoot guns and stuff.
Delay game on the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. Third down.
A lot of penalties.
A lot of penalties.
I mean, you're going to get that It's going to be a big emphasis this week because you get the Game 3 now in the preseason. You know where this thing's heading, guys, right? There's not going to be many more Game 3s in the preseason. They want the schedule to get to 18, probably cut it down to 2. Potentially talking about moving the league year to where it starts at the beginning of the summer.
Another third down stop for this New England Patriots defense. I think that'll be one of the things that I'm sure will be on every highlight tomorrow in film room is how many stops they got on third down.
Yeah, and Mikey Victor right there, an undrafted free agent out of Alabama State, showing up. And this is a smaller guy, but he's able to make a play there. And you mentioned Dial making plays in training camp and practice. Another guy. These are just amazing opportunities, and I was a guy that was drafted at the end of the 6th round. So my first preseason game, I was in the game at this point, finishing out the game, trying to do something on special teams, but trying to show the coaches that I understood the defense and could make a play.
Come on, this is our guy. There we go. Hey, that's 8 more yards. That is 8 more yards around that corner. It's a 14-yard return. 2 big returns. We'll get a first look at Joe Milton, the third. Coming up next.
So I just want a successful play. I want to get the play call in my ear. I want to say it the right way. I want all the guys to line up where they're supposed to line up, and let's execute just a good play. And here we go, Joe Milton's first play.
Sticks it right on Baker, little hook route to the right. You know, it's amazing to me how sort of the game has changed and evolved to where a lot of these kids and the way they're brought up, whether they're youth or high school or collegiate ranks, look at the sideline and they'll hold up a sign or something or a code and just go to the line of scrimmage, not even call a play. And both of these guys, Drake May and Joe, haven't had much experience, and that's part of being pro-ready.
Joe Milton told us he hadn't called a play in the huddle since he was 17 years old. So it's insane, and this is a guy that played at 2 different schools. So it's not like he's played big-time football. He was at Michigan, he was at Tennessee, and even still then, he didn't do it. So I think, to your point, Deb, that's the biggest challenge, and we know the cannon of an arm, and we know as you're looking at that 6'5", 246 pounds, how big this guy is and what he can do. I think that's the fun part about it. We asked Jacoby Brissett, hey, you're the veteran in the room. What do you want to see from Joe Milton tomorrow? He said he wanted Joe Milton to show everybody how smart of a player he is and how he can get the guys in the right call and make the right reads. Everybody already knows about his arm, but now show him what you can do with your mind.
Hey, let's give Joe Milton some love. That thing said 246 pounds. He said he's down around 235. He said he's got on a good diet. He understands what he needs to do. Lost weight when he left out of here.
What was it? 1 bowl of cereal instead of 2?
Yep. And he can sour cream or cheese on his Chipotle bowls. Can't do both.
How much was Cam? How much did he weigh when he was here?
I feel like Cam had to be 260, 265.
No, he was probably like 250. Because remember, he told us at one point
he's cut up.
He was like 265, and he's been down since then.
That's when he's getting hit.
Well, that's what Cam used to tell us in practice. You know, as DBs, Scott, you know, you can't touch the quarterback in practice. But we'd come on a blitz, and I'd yell as loud as I possibly could, sack! And Cam would start laughing. It's just like, you think you alone by yourself is going to be able to bring me down in the pocket? Yeah,
Bounce
right.
off him.
And I couldn't really talk any trash because I was 190 pounds, and he was probably right. I couldn't bring him down by myself.
All right, here we go, 2nd and 4 now. So you get picking up some yardage here on first down. That's important. You don't want the 2nd and 10, 3rd and 10, throw that incomplete on 2nd down.
This has probably been the best they've run the ball on this drive with a couple run plays that have hit.
Good movement. Look out. Get out of here. Fans love it. They love it.
There he goes.
I don't know. 13-yard scamper. I think he ran about 73 yards. Speaking of Cam, I remember when he did that to Nikovich down there in that Monday night game down in Carolina. Very similar here.
Not many times you're going to break 3 or 4 tackles in the back end and get 13 yards. So Joe Milton, not sure if he wanted to slide at the end, picks up big yards. Let's see if he can catch his breath and get ready for the next play. I bet Van Pelt says, you know what, let's just hand the ball off on this play.
So you got Caden Wallace at right tackle, Robinson at left guard, your 2 draft picks. Here we go. Can't have it. Again.
First charge. Oh. Timeout, New England. This will be a 30-second timeout.
All right, let's go down to Steve Burton on the sideline.
All right, Scott, thank you very much for joining me now as Patriot captain, Deatrich Wise Jr. And before I talk defense, let's talk quarterback, and let's talk about Joe Milton. Yeah. Tell me about him.
He's a great quarterback. We've seen him in practice day in, day out. Everybody knows he has a strong arm, but what guys don't know is that he's very intelligent. He has playmaker ability, and he has a great job of controlling the rock, and he has that big play energy.
I was going to say, you mentioned
single time. Yeah.
You're 6'6". He's what, 6'5"?
He's about 6'5". Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about this Patriots defense, because right now they're pitching a shutout. You happy with the way these guys are playing?
So far, all the guys are playing well. They're playing their technical fundamentals. There he is. Told you, he's going to move the rock down the field. We've seen that in practice day in, day out. He's doing a great job with the small passes. He even throws little intermediate passes very well, good on the run. So I want to see more of him as he doing this game, but so far he's doing a great job.
One last
defense guy, they're also doing a really good job. A lot of guys are hungry right now.
They're making plays.
Making a lot of plays.
One last question. Gerard Mayo, obviously a defensive guy. How's he changed now that he's a head coach?
Well, you know, in order to be a good defensive coach, you have to know offense. So he's been in this system for a long time. He's able to take all the information that he knows and transfer it to the offense. He's very balanced. Yes, he's defense, but also in practice, he knows how to coach offensive guys to make sure that they get the best out of him.
Any message for the McCourty brothers up
in the box? What's up, guys? How you doing? See you up there.
There you go. All right, into the third quarter. Patriots are still winning 7-0. We'll be back right after this. Stay with us.
Patriots preseason football is brought to you by Bank of America, official bank of the New England Patriots, and by JetBlue, official airline of the New England Patriots.
Third, fourth quarter, go make plays with your legs.
Hoyer, you're here. Tell us about that throw right there, throwing the out route. DB almost had a chance to intercept that and take that back
from
to the
opposite hash, too.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about like you throwing that throw to the field. That's a long way to throw the ball. I mean, I know he's got a strong arm, but you know the DB is a little bit different in the NFL, and you know, J-Mac, you're licking your chops when you see someone throwing a field out to the field. It's a tough throw.
He plants that back foot too, and then just it's a little bit deliberate to where the other corner could jump it a little bit. All right, what are you thinking here? Third and what? Third and 8? Third and 7? 2-down territory?
Yeah, it's the preseason. We got to be aggressive in the preseason. Any chance you got a chance to score touchdowns, kick field goals in the regular season.
Do you have a little kicking competition, though?
Yeah, that is true. So we might,
They got to get Ryland going.
So you're the head coach. You just said you're going for it now. You're like, you got to make those decisions in a heartbeat and believe it.
That's why I'm not coaching.
We still got to figure out who the kicker is, too, so it's a part of it. That's a good ball by Joe Milton.
That's a great ball.
Booty had a chance to grab that. He's made some tough catches tonight. Couldn't come down with that one right there.
Yeah, you guys were talking about his size, you know, Joe Milton's size and the Cam Newton comparisons, and I'll never forget when Cam was here. We're in the weight room ready to go out, and I said, Cam, you got to step on the scale. I need to know how much you weigh with all your gear on. And without saying anything crazy, it was close to 280 pounds. And so, J-Mac, there's no way you're sacking Cam on your own at 280. I mean, he's bigger than the tight ends.
That's going to get in there. Nice kick by Slide. It's a 42-yarder. 10-0. Patriots over the Panthers. 10-0. Patriots over the Panthers. Take a look at the scoring drive. 11 plays, 44 yards. Consumed 5 minutes, 1 second. That's what you want to see. Get those double-digit drives. Keeps that defense nice and rested. Speaking of defense, 10 drives, 90 yards allowed, only 4 first downs, 5 sacks, 1 of 10 on third.
Woo. That is something to celebrate so far. And that's what we talked about coming into the show. This defense has to continue to be a strength for this team, continue to play well. And I understand not everybody's on the field for either team, but defense is a mentality. You want everybody on that team that lines up to play defense to have the same mindset and to play aggressive downhill football.
This one's got a chance to get in there. Well, we're going to bring it up. All right, talking about next week. Patriots' next preseason game brought to you by Sports Illustrated Tickets. 50 million sports, concerts, and theater tickets. Visit SITickets.com today. Next Thursday, we're going to be right back here, guys, at Gillette Stadium. When the Patriots host the Philadelphia Eagles, we're going to have it for you right here at 7 p.m. Tuesday, there will be a joint practice with the Eagles. Good time for fans to come down, get a look at the Eagles. Guys like A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts.
That'll be a fun watch.
That defense at the end of last year.
Yeah, Eagles is a good football team.
Ball on the ground.
Sloppy. Little check sweep action.
Yeah, joint practice is always a time to come and see the starters go against each other.
These plays, they look so easy when we see it all the time, the jet sweeps.
Yeah.
And right there, Plummer, he just loses the ball. Defense doesn't do anything. But those plays, they have to time up so good. But so many offenses throughout the league, they make those things look so easy. But it's not always easy to execute, especially when you're still learning this offense.
Got 2. You probably had to love being that sitting corner in the cover 2. They throw that inside out route. Just sitting there waiting for it.
And Plummer did a good job for Carolina, throwing it low. So an old friend of the Patriots right there, Jacob Hollister, catches the ball, is able to fall down before he takes a big hit from Dial coming in on the edge.
It's funny when Zoe talks about that cover 2 and making that hit. All I can think about is a guy like Asante Samuel, who made a living getting some really big hits on throws like that.
Patriots defense very content. They dropped into a zone, took away all the deeper throws that would have been beyond the first down marker, made Carolina check it down, and then you can see that whole defense rally and tackle again. It's a mindset. Whoever gets on the field will run into the ball. Everyone's trying to get a piece of that white jersey if they're still on their feet.
1 for 11 now on third down.
It's crazy.
This has probably been the most exciting time of the game. Our guy, David Wallace, back there to receive another punt. Looking to be showtime.
So he's had what?
30 seconds on that.
24-yard return. I think he had a 14-yard return. Yeah. So he's get 38 yards of return. That's some good field position.
Yeah.
That'll get you noticed.
Definitely noticed by, obviously, the New England Patriots and by 31 other teams of someone that could possibly be looking for a returner. So a great job by him of taking advantage of the opportunities.
You know, right now he's just got to make sure you're making big plays. First, like you said last time, Zoe, his last catch was all hands. It was a little iffy. He has to make sure ball security. The ball is the organization. It's the most valuable thing out there.
Danny Amendola made a career out of this. Remember the first Hard Knocks with the Dallas Cowboys? Yeah, they didn't want to cut him, and they ended up cutting him, and he bounced around. And look how it turned out for him. All right, we'll see Joe Milton again. 11:59 left in the
back here at Gillette Stadium, just under 12 minutes to go in this game. Let's get to our Toyota drive of the game. In order to start a great drive, you want to start it off with special teams. David Wallace gets the punt return, and he takes it back 24 yards, gets to the sideline, and of course he makes the puncher miss and follows up Bailey Zappi, connecting with Keyshawn Butu. He knows what to do with it after he catches it, turns it upfield, and Karen Harris says, you know what, I'll take the ball and I'll finish this thing off. The drive of the game is brought to you by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
Well, let's see what Alex Van Pelt's got up his sleeve here. Coming back, cold.
Carrying. There is a flag on the play.
It's going to be on 65.
Legal use of hands, hands to the face on the offense, number 68. It's a 10-yard penalty. First down.
65 on the legs, and they're going to get Mafi here. There it is right there.
Right here.
Yeah.
Right at the end
call.
of the play.
Yeah.
Ooh,
The helmet comes off. That makes it a lot easier to figure it out.
And I was just going to say, before we saw the flag on the field, their best drives have started with a successful run just like that. But then you have a flag. Now instead of being in, you know, 1st and 10, a second 1st and 10, you end up in a 1st and 15. We'll talk about his feet and running, but the big thing was Joe Milton stepped up in the pocket, looking down the field to get rid of the ball. As he pump fakes and almost loses it, probably helpful to have those big mitts on the ball. Then he runs, though. But when you see quarterbacks step up in the pocket and look down the field, that's when you know they're doing a good job. Good decision by Joe Milton to just tuck it and run and pick up some yards.
That's 13-yard gain right there.
You see Jennings on the carry. Jennings was known in college as a guy who broke a lot of tackles and made yards after contact. You saw right there, as soon as he got the ball, there was a defender there, stiff-armed him. Wasn't a lot of yards, but it was enough to pick up a first down. And you love to have running backs who, if there's nothing there, they still find a way to get 2 or 3 yards, because that's what you call home run guys. They break tackles, they run hard, and Jennings has done that throughout his career. Let's see if he can keep doing it for the Patriots.
Confusion on a route here.
Flag. I think they're going to get a legal contact on this one.
A little miscommunication.
Got away with
Prior to the pass, legal contact on the defense, number 34. That's a 5-yard penalty, an automatic first down.
Yeah, so Joe's been able to come in and move the football here.
He has, and one thing we talked to him about is he hasn't really had opportunities in practice to throw the ball deep down the field, which a lot of people know him for. And he said, hey, if I get an opportunity tonight, I'm letting that thing go, and I'm throwing the ball down the field. And right there, him and Jackson not on the same page, but still is able to create the illegal contact.
Got a good cushion here on the bottom. 1st and 10 again. Good strong run. 20-yard scamper right there off right tackle.
And credit to the big guys up front. Dev, you mentioned it. Their best drives have started off with them being able to just keep the ball on the ground and make something happen. So much we've talked about this offensive line and figuring out which 5 it should be. And I know it's later on in the game, but it's so important for these guys to get in there and to be able to open up holes, because we're going to talk about them being able to keep Jacoby Brissett clean and Drake May clean throughout this preseason. But the main thing for this football team is they're going to have to be able to move people to run the ball to have any success on the offense.
And you saw right there, we talked about Jennings making yards after contact. He had one hand touch him, but the real contact didn't happen until 12 yards down the field. That's when you come in and you say, hey, offensive line, great job making movement, creating holes that our old retired butts can run through and make yards. So Jennings does a good job finishing the run, but really big credit to the offensive line and what they were able to do on that play.
Don't refer to me as old.
You guys are the same age. Oh, nice look. Oh, man. That's a dart. Bazooka Joe with the reset. 38-yard touchdown to Jackson. Gave him a little stutter on the outside. Joe looked right. He reset. Let him slip up that left boundary. Take it from here. What are we going to look at as we look at this replay here? Man. Let's take a look at the outside receiver here.
Jaquay Jackson.
Where's he from, J-Mac?
He's from Rutgers University, and that's what we call a double move, folks. He makes it look like he's running it out, and he turns it up, and Joe Milton puts the ball right on him, and they celebrated with a handshake. Joe Milton said he was going to have one ready for the guys.
Yeah, we asked Joe Milton. He said no backflip, just handshakes.
His dad's got to be fired up. Said his dad's here with the 19 jersey.
Yep.
Sitting in the stands. Big
There's
touchdown.
the handshake.
38 yards to Jackson. Patriots up big. 17-zip. All right, welcome back to Gillette Stadium. The big touchdown throw by Joe Milton. 17-zip. 6 plays. 75 yards. Just a tad under 3 minutes off the clock.
That was a good looking drive right there. They ran the ball well.
Yep.
Double set up the double move, throw for a touchdown.
Right. Overcame a penalty. Hands to the face.
And you mentioned the touchdown. Jaquay Jackson, they had a miscommunication on one where it almost looked like a double move. Then he stopped, and Van Pelt goes right back to the double move, probably saying that he beat the cornerback on the play before and able to put one in the end zone.
Coming out. Chance. All right, let's go down to Brian Hoyer inside.
Yeah, let's break down this touchdown pass by Joe Milton here. If we let it run, we're going to show a great job of his experience on how to move a free safety, something I used to do to Devin in practice all the time. Go ahead, let it run. I'm going to pause it right here. When he gets to there, we go right there. You see Joe, he looks here. He gets the vision going there. This safety, he's starting to move to the field, so he knows he's got him taken care of. And this is a great route. He knows that the receiver, we talked about earlier, when we get picked, this corner goes all in, he throws a great ball. Like right there, you want to get it to him just the way that Joe did.
Good stuff right there. Great breakdown there, Brian. Jake Luton in at quarterback now.
And it's a good point by Hoyer that we watch this throughout the NFL. Sometimes these receivers run great routes. They're wide open. They beat the defensive back. And we see the quarterback just throw it too far, or he throws it a little bit outside and it goes out of bounds. And I used to always hear coaches say, just put the ball on him. It doesn't need to be the prettiest ball. He's wide open. Just get it to him so he can catch it and go score a touchdown.
Yeah, that's a dream scenario as a quarterback. When you talk about like a double move is being called and I'm going to move the free safety and I come back and my guy has burned them, it's like get him the ball as fast as you can. Don't lob it out there. Just get it to him and let him score.
Quick fake. Catch outside. Rare first down, but we got a flag, guys.
Yeah, another pre-snap penalty.
Legal shift on the offense. Number 12 did not reset. That's a 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Some of that's on the quarterback too. You gotta give it a peek. Let him get set. Yep, feet aren't set. A little sense of urgency, not there.
And I think what was most impressive to me of the Joe Milton touchdown pass was what Brian Hoyer just spoke about, was his ability to move the safety. And, you know, Hoyer joked about moving you all over the place in practice. And I think that's the thing, though, for a young quarterback. Sometimes you have a double move dialed up and you can get ahead of yourself and you're already thinking about making this pretty pass down the sideline. But him taking his time, setting his feet, knowing what he's doing with his vision, and doing it with a purpose. It's one thing when somebody, hey, quarterbacks lift people off, but knowing he was going back, I think that was a really good job by him.
Yeah, there's kind of two rules of thought with a double move. There's one where you're going to stare it down, pump it, get the corner to commit, and then you have to worry about the safety after that. And so the other way you can handle it is look to the opposite side and let the receiver do the work on the corner. So you got a guy like Devin back there. You know that he's going to be on your eyes. You've got to move him one way or the other. And so, that shows his experience. I mean, we talk about a guy who played a lot of great college football, not only at the University of Michigan, but also at Tennessee. So you're talking about Big Ten and SEC school. He's played a lot of football, a lot of experience.
Subtle move with the shoulders, too, right? That's how he gets the safety to react.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can't just look. I think we could ask Devin on those are the things that
good tackle
they're going to study. Those safeties are going to study that. Well, if he just looks one way, maybe he's going to come back the other way. So a little shoulder nod, maybe a separation of the ball off the hand, and then come back and throw the other move.
Yeah, Paul, that's a great point, because at this stage in the NFL, it's different than college. These are grown men. They're studying film. They're trying to find any little thing that you might do. So when you move your whole shoulder, you do something like that, it really makes a player buy it. So I think that's the difference when you come in the NFL. The way guys study is so important.
New England, 30-second timeout.
All right, guys, we're going to rack up some highlights here of Joe Milton tonight. See the big man, number 19. Just a quick little flip out to that right side, gets it going to Baker. This is the exciting part right here. I think it's a 13-yard gain. Big scamper. Got the crowd into the game.
Yes.
You can hear it.
As soon as he checked in, the crowd started to cheer, and that's the stuff you want to see from Joe Milton. He brings a sense of excitement to this team, and that's what he's doing every single day at training camp and practice with the backflips, but going out there interacting with the fans. And now when you get your chance, you show up in the game and you do it right. And that was a fourth down right there, a little bit of a pick play up top to get the receiver open in a man-to-man situation for the Patriots.
Yeah, and it's cool, talking to Joe Milton yesterday in the production meeting, just, you mentioned it, like just go out and execute and have fun. And you could see him, the celebration there. He talked about how his dad was coming to watch him play. Like, I'm thinking back to my, first year, how exciting that would be to go out in your first game, scramble around, make some great plays, your dad's in the stands, and then cap it off with a great touchdown pass.
Yeah, that's a good point, Brian, because again, the limited reps.
Yep.
And where you're slotted, and I know the team put out a depth chart today, and he's listed at fourth behind Zappi. But Gerard's like, you gotta look at the opportunities in the actual reps. And what are we getting out of each guy? So you're gonna take this game tonight, and he's probably gonna get some more run next week off of this, Speaking of reps, let's go down to Steve Burke.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Well, this guy really doesn't need any introduction, but I will anyway. Patriots captain David Andrews, and you liking what you're seeing so far?
Yeah, there's obviously a lot to clean up, right? First game action for a lot of people, myself included this year, and so we'll go in and clean it up. But it's good seeing the young guys go out there and make some plays, and that's always brings me joy, especially now at this point.
How do you think Gerard Mayo's handling everything as his first-year head coach?
I think he's done a good job, and we talked obviously before the game, and he said something that kind of resonated with me. Obviously the game doesn't count. There's no record or anything like that, but that doesn't mean it doesn't matter. And I think there's something to the preseason, and I still remember my first preseason play backed up here against Green Bay. So I think there's a lot. It's a great opportunity for a lot of guys. It's good for veterans too to get out there, because obviously we've got new players and things like that. So get out there, work all the kinks out, and put your best foot forward going forward.
New players, new system as well. Alex Van Pelt, what does he bring to the table?
Yeah, I really like a lot of stuff we're trying to do offensively, and it's a lot different than things I've done in the past, and so I've enjoyed learning, having to learn it, and adjust to that. That's been fun, to learn about it, learn the new system. But I think our whole offensive coaching staff does a great job. AVP's so level-headed, and I think he's done a great job, trying to grow the room and get us to play how he wants us to play.
One last thing, Jacoby Brissett, I was having a little fun with him, but 8 years ago he was here, and you were right along with him.
Yeah, I think having Jacoby back's been great. It's been awesome because I saw him come into the league, obviously, and he's left. We've kept in touch, but to see his growth,
right,
and how much growth he's had, and how good of a leader he's become. A lot of those qualities you saw early on, but to see him really grow and grow him to himself, I think he's great to have back on this team, and brings a great, his confidence in playing in the system, things like that. So really enjoyed having him back.
One last thing, too, your former teammates, up in the broadcast booth right now, the McCourty twins.
Yeah.
Any message for them?
Jason, love you. Devin, you could be nicer.
Sounds
David
so
Andrews, I
soft.
guess. There you go. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, guys.
That's a guy that knows us, Kev. When he says something like that, there are people at home right now like, man, David Andrews, he knows those guys because Dev, even growing up, was always known as the evil one.
Every former offensive lineman sitting at home saying, man, David Andrews sounds soft. Be nicer. I don't hear him talk about that. He sounds soft, Dave.
Yeah, he had a scare this week, and I know it got reported on. His son got sent to the hospital with a virus, and I was a little worried about that. Spent a couple days away, and it's good to get him back and feeling good.
Yeah,
safe and home.
Him and his wife, Mackenzie,
Mackenzie.
talked to them, and they were in good spirits. I talked to him when it was happening, so always good. And me and him joked about it. When you have that second kid, you're a little bit more calm.
Yeah.
You're not going crazy. So David Andrews is one of those guys. I joke with him all the time, but he's one of those guys. As a rookie, he played every single snap in the preseason. Nothing bothers him. He shows up. He's going to always just get the job done, whether on the field or at home. So great leader, captain, and a guy I'm happy to extend it because he's a guy that I think will help try to turn this program around and get it pointing back in the right direction.
Kind of last of the triplets. Dev, you've been such a great leader off the field, doing the community stuff. Slater, you guys are retired. He's still kicking it.
Yep.
Oh, he got it. What a pick. Oh, no.
Called it incomplete.
You got to play it up. Got to play it up. Pretend you caught it.
Yeah. Let's see what we
Get
got.
one more quick look. Ooh, got him on a double move. That ball kept outside.
Mikey Victor.
Incomplete.
See you, Paul. See you, Brian. See you next week. See you next Thursday.
You guys got it easy. Already leaving.
New England is challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass.
So I guess we won't leave. We'll see if this isn't a true incomplete pass or did he get an interception. Let's get a closer look.
Did he really get it?
I'm not sure about that.
Close.
Well, the tough thing is you can get some help from the ground if the ball doesn't move. So that's what you're trying to look at. When Mikey Victor goes to the ground, does that ball move as it hits the ground? And I think it does. I think he's aided a lot by the ground on that play. It's great effort by him to lay out and try to catch that one, but I don't know about that.
So you're just telling me this is one of those moments, rookie head coach Gerard Mayo, he just wants to get the feeling of throwing that challenge flag out there. See what it feels like.
Make sure you can find it.
Well, if you win the challenge, you get another one now this year.
Yep.
So rules have changed there.
Good point.
This is the second time at the end of the first half, at the end of the game, where we couldn't go to the 2-minute warning. We had to stoppage and play because we're going to review.
What I love is you see all the DBs over there. They're all looking at the surface right there. Mikey Victor's one of those guys in there, and he's explaining to them segment by segment. Fellas, I caught this ball. You got to understand. Look at the left hand. Look at the right hand. Don't worry about the ground. I held on to this one, and you're having a debate, and you're going back and forth trying to figure out what it's going to be.
Ring finger is under there.
After reviewing the play, ruling on the field of an incomplete pass stands. Third down, New England will be charged with their third and final timeout.
Second loudest they've been today.
I was about to say, the crowd showing some love. They're not happy about that call.
Gerard Mayo 0 for 1 in challenges on the preseason.
That's
Is
right.
that something you're going to get after him about, Dad?
No, you can't take those with you. Be aggressive. Be aggressive in everything.
Who charts those down? That's Slater?
It should be. We got to find out what is Slater doing on the sideline over there. He has a headset on. He's got the ball head looking good. But we got to find out what exactly is he doing on the sideline.
Keep the guys back, guys. Keeping them off the white. Drop. All right, the official 2-minute warning. 17-0 Patriots over the Panthers. We'll be right back.
Your season starts now with NFL Plus Premium. Get access and coverage to all 49 preseason games. See the future stars shine bright. Get a look at the biggest names repping their new teams. Stay connected through the preseason with news and coverage on NFL Network. And relive every big catch, touchdown, and unmissable moment with NFL game replays. Watch the NFL preseason with NFL Plus Premium. Sign up today.
I'm joking about Matthew Slater, saying what is he doing, but he's been a key part into this new regime. They really worked hard to bring him back here. He's a guy that they wanted to have in the building, and most importantly, he's going to be the sounding board for Gerard Mayo to talk about decisions that need to be made. He's going to also be a guy that special teams players, offense, defensive players can go to. He's been a great leader for this organization for 16 years. So he's a key guy, I think, that they were able to keep in this building, and anything he brings will be dynamic to this Patriots football team.
All right, field goal attempt, 41 yards. Just trying to get some points here, Carolina. Snap, hold. Kick is good. Got one more kickoff, guys.
You can see Jeremy Springer letting everybody know, signaling return. And I got to say, I've heard in practice meetings, this guy is always juiced up. I heard his meetings are entertaining. You want to be in them. He makes sure everybody is locked in, ready to go. And people don't always understand that special teams is the one unit where you get offensive guys, defensive guys that all come together. So you need to always have a good leader of men that brings guys in, gets them believing in what you're doing. Because usually if you can have a big play, good or bad, it hurts the team or it helps the team. So it's fun to see Jeremy Springer and the energy he's bringing. And let's see if they can get a return that they can go in the meeting room and say, this is exactly what we want to do, guys.
He's got a different challenge, too. You got to bounce back from the sloppy special teams play. Brandon Schooler's another guy. He had some bad penalties this year. Maybe that's where Slater helps him, the culture part of it. And here's the thing moving forward. Like, they're still filling all this out. You know, so which guys are going to be here, which guys aren't. And it's hard for a special teams coach. You're dealing with all these different bodies. Rosters are pretty much set up to 45, 46 players. And then there's that influx of, 7 or 8 that can make the team. They're bubbled. They're all special teams guys.
And I think this new kickoff might change the type of guys you keep. Normally, you look at guys like Matthew Slater or defensive backs or wide receivers. I don't know with this new kickoff. You don't have to sprint down the field anymore, so we might see bigger guys, tight ends and linebackers.
Well, even with this new dynamic kickoff, we watched it in the first game where we saw Chicago and we saw Houston. Weren't any real big returns. We're watching tonight. There was a few that got out past the 30, but we haven't seen a big return. Now, obviously, we're seeing teams that are returning the ball, as Zoe pointed out when we first started. Last year was a low in the history of the league of only 22% of kickoffs being returned. So we're seeing more returns. But I think when the dynamic kickoff was first introduced, the thought was, all right, you have everybody at one level. Hey, all the returner has to do is make one person miss, and they could be gone. We haven't seen that at all.
Kill formation. 6 tight diamond. Usually have Slater back there.
Jay, you ever line up in this formation?
Yeah, but a lot of times, unfortunately for me, I was on the defensive side of the ball.
I lined up in this formation on offense. Matthew Slater was hurt. Josh McDaniels grabbed me. They called for on the headset, we need Devin, we need Devin. So you don't probably understand this because you're not as well versed in football as me, Jason. But the reason you put a guy like me or Matthew Slater back there is if anything goes
happens, a sure tackler.
A sure tackler. And that might be a reason why they never put you back there, but.
Just be thankful I brought you a Super Bowl.
That was fun seeing you guys in Kansas City celebrating. That's still one of my favorite games. The AFC Championship game in Kansas City, sub-0.
Awesome.
And you guys jumping around like that said it all.
Oh, so many trips to the Super Bowl, Scott, of just watching Dev and not getting my opportunity. It was like, it's about time that I can actually give some tickets away.
Your play on Cooks, calling that live. And
he's heard it too many times.
You see it develop. I'm like, oh, no, it's wide open. And then the way you close from that backside to have that sense to do that. That was great.
It's the only reason I'm sitting next to you guys right now, that people actually hired me to be on TV. So I'm very appreciative of that one play.
How about the guys all giving Gerard Mayo handshakes like they just won the Super Bowl? He won his first preseason game. You got to learn how to win, right? Celebrate all your wins.
He doesn't look happy, though. Like, he knows he's got a lot of work to do. Their work's cut out for him. Clean things up. You got to tighten down the roster here in a couple weeks, but it's a big week next week with Philadelphia coming in because it's a tough NFC East team, black and blue division. They're going to come in here. They're going to hit you on Tuesday, and then you're going to play the game on Thursday. So stick around here. We'll be back with the Toyota post-game report. We'll have that for you next.
Patriots preseason football is brought to you by Geico. More access to Patriots football presented by Geico. Whatever you need, get more with Geico.